our team. And, we're excited about Fonzie and excited about his opportunities to be, to lead this team going forward.
We're chatting with Kevin Blue, CEO of Canada Soccer. I'll ask you about the Olympics upcoming. As you mentioned, Canada, the women's team has an awesome stage set for themselves, defending champions. Like, with that becomes an honor, but also pretty high expectation. Obviously, we want to see them bring home some hardware, and they have done that in the past. How would you just address like the state of excitement and I guess readiness that they are to take on that big opponents?
Yeah, I mean, I had a conversation with one of the players last night, and they're on their way. Most of them are on their way over, and they're in Spain right now doing some pre-tournament training. And it's a special time. The Olympic Games are a special platform. The players are excited about it, and I think that they embrace the opportunity to defend the gold medal. It's kind of what you want to have to do, right? And but defending the gold medal comes from just focusing on the next day, and that's, I'm sure, the approach they're going to take.
So we wondered, they will not be able to defend that with Christine Sinclair, who of course retired from international football, and we always wondered, hey, what's Christine Sinclair going to do next? And she's continuing her playing career, but what's her role with Canada Soccer next? Is there anything on that front?
I hope so. Obviously, the greatest player of all time is somebody that we want to be helping and be involved, and she still has some, she still has matches to play here. Mm-hmm. She's still an active professional, obviously, for Thorns, and we're supportive of her continuing to compete. But when the time comes, by all means, we're eager to rely on her experience and her greatness to help guide our programs going forward.
We're chatting with the CEO of Canada Soccer, Kevin Blue. When you took the role, Kevin, you said, quote, "We have a lot of work to do." I know you're still working on all that stuff, and some things are still to be determined and still to be discussed. But is the stack of paper left on your desk a little smaller? Are you confident in that?
Well, there's a lot, yes, in certain ways. And in other ways, there's still some important things that we all need to come together to address as a Canadian soccer community. And I'm confident and hopeful that we'll continue to make some progress on those key areas. There's a lot on the line for the sport in Canada in the next several years. We have to get soccer right for Canada, for Canadian sport. And I think all of us that are involved in it embrace that responsibility. So the metaphorical stack of papers is still pretty high, but that's what it is, right? We're in that stretch of time now, and it's going to be that way, and we're going to just keep working our way through it.
I know you're a competitive guy, and you don't need to answer this, but does it give you like a little bit of like pride that the Americans had a kind of a disastrous Copa America and Canadians moving forward? Like, you can just say pass or you can smile, because I mean, for me, it does.
Or let Carly Lloyd create all the controversy.
True.
Yeah, we focus on ourselves, and that. And I truly mean that. Like, it's the way that we've got to be, and that's what we're going to do.
Very well said. Well said.
Okay, last one for you, Kevin. There's people that are concerned about Canada Soccer. Maybe that was predating your arrival. But for anyone who is concerned about Canada Soccer, maybe the readiness for 2026, what would you say to them?
We're working around the clock to put the country in a position to be successful in 2026. This is not only competitively with the men's team, but it is to take advantage of a once-in-a-generation opportunity for the largest sporting event ever to come to Canada, and for that to have really positive effects on the infrastructure of soccer in Canada. And again, we take that responsibility very, very, very seriously, and are urgently working every day to make sure that we're ready. And I'm confident that we will be. Right, I'm confident that we will be.
Are you headed to Copa tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow afternoon.
Awesome.
We'll be traveling down to a warmer place, Dallas, Texas, and we'll be doing my best to support the players and the coaches.
Well, have fun. I hope it's a successful trip, and we appreciate your time today. Congrats on the role, and get ready for all the excitement to come. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, and thanks for covering us.
Yeah, of course. Kevin Blue, CEO of Canada Soccer, just took the role a little bit earlier this year, but clearly well ready for the task at hand.
Yeah, I mean, what can we measure Canada Soccer on? This new iteration being run by Kevin Blue is, okay, they made a decision with the head coach of the men's national team, and they made a Copa America quarterfinal and could go to a semifinal. So, I mean, there's not much to say other than, well, that was a job well done. That was one box checked. And again, many boxes still to check for this to be where we want it to be, for it to be where we need it to be in 2026. But yeah, if we're talking about what's been done already, I think you earned some plaudits there, and I think you can have some confidence that they're going to get there.
So Friday, Canada, Venezuela. We'll have some more time to tee it up this week, but it's going to be exciting. I hope everyone has the time to sit and watch and appreciate where Canada's at. If they win, is it Argentina next, most likely?
I believe so. I believe so.
Well, you know what? They fared well in that first game.
In the first half, it was a little
Just
dicey
play
in
the
the second
first half twice.
Yeah,
and they're good.
That should be the mindset. But again, I mean, we talk about free rolls in sports every now and then where, like, you know, you're not supposed to be here. That would be the ultimate free roll. Argentina in a semifinal at a Copa America would be zero expectations, and you can just go out there and play. And it felt like that for a lot of that first game where they were able to just shut it out. But then, you're in this game in the second half, and it kind of fell apart.
The second time around, like,
a little bit.
Less of a...
Which is okay.
Like, I think, honestly, I'm not going to tell you that they're going to beat Argentina, but, like, if they get through this, they'll be riding confidence. They've got the Buchanan injury to rally behind. You beat Venezuela, who was undefeated, as we mentioned, and have had a great tournament so far. And then you're playing Argentina, and sometimes the team that has less to really, like, prove and more freedom plays better, okay? It wouldn't be the first time an underdog, David and Goliath, Messi. It can happen.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, though, because Venezuela absolutely tore through its group. But Venezuela has been one of the stories of this tournament so far.
So they're plus 160 to win, Canada plus 195 to win.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of like almost an even three-way money. Like, that's really close. And, of course, the draw is probably like plus 200 or something like that. So anything's possible inside the 90 minutes. But Venezuela is a different task. And Venezuela's been really, really good. Again, ranked lower than Canada, but even Canada's ranking's a little wonky, and you look at it, it doesn't make complete sense. Belgium's been number 3 for the last 12 years and have won nothing. Like, again, it's not a perfect science, those FIFA rankings.
You tried to ask me to decipher how the FIFA rankings work.
No, I don't think anyone can. But what we have actually the perfect scenario. You have a winnable game. You have a game you could very well lose. You have a game where the stakes are huge and the expectations should be at least reasonably high. And again, if it was Uruguay, we'd be like, okay, it'll be fun Friday night to watch this team one more time. But it's a winnable game against Venezuela, a really tough opponent, an opponent we don't know much about, but there is reason to believe Canada can be successful Friday night. And for that reason, it's kind of the perfect stakes moment, the perfect culminating moment for this tournament, really, for Canada, because on the other side of it, if they get through, it's going to be tough.
Couldn't agree more, but let's enjoy the moment. Okay, a couple more things to go through before we send it off for our Wednesday night. As we mentioned, Houston and Toronto up next on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 5 Night Fan. Let's talk about John Tavares.
Okay.
It's just...
Might be neighbors with Kevin Blue.
I was trying to see if there's a hockey net in the backyard. So Kipper on Kipper and Bourne mentioned this little tidbit of information, but it's interesting because we were talking about like legend's a strong word. We're talking about leaders on teams as of late with Stamkos, his departure from Tampa and how that
felt. Gods? Is gods too much?
Yeah, but we like getting treated like gods. That's a throwback. Yeah. So Stamkos' departure from Tampa has obviously shaken a lot of people's belief in like loyalty and you can be a captain and things can change to you. Obviously LeBron getting to do whatever he wants with the Lakers is one side of it, but John Tavares is in a bit of a peculiar situation. He's got 1 year left on this contract. He's the captain of the Maple Leafs, but the media, and including us and others, have talked about the captaincy maybe being removed from John Tavares. So let's play what Kipper had to say. This was on July 1st, so 2 days ago on their show during free agency, just floating out the idea that maybe the Maple Leafs would be considering removing the captaincy and giving it to Austin Matthews.
From what I'm hearing, the Leafs contemplating on taking the captaincy away from him.
Really?
And giving it to Austin. For all of you listening, I'm saying that they will contemplate it. They will talk about it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's real.
I love Sammy's reactions as well. Really? Really? Okay, so first off, like, What do you think of that idea?
I think it is pointless, right? Like it would be embarrassing, right, for John Tavares. I'm not sure there's any way to get around that. So there's a negative. I guess there's a con. I'm looking for a pro. Do I have a pro that matches up with that? Is it going to unleash something different out of Austin Matthews? Number 34 is different because he's wearing a different letter on his left shoulder. I'm not really sure that's going to be the case. So what exactly would be the benefit? I'm not really sure. You would
sell more jerseys.
Definitely. You would have to replace a lot of A's and throw on some C's, and that would be great. But again, I don't think that's really the main concern here. I don't know if the pros could ever outweigh the cons. And for a team that, because he's going to be captain eventually anyway. Yeah. And for a team that refuses to do anything ever. I mean, we entered this offseason and be like, oh, there's got to be change, finally change. It's going to be, something's going to happen. You're going to have to trade Mitch Marner. Something's going to have to be different, or what's the point? We're looking at another offseason where nothing changes. They got worse. They added players that other teams probably would scoff at. And
you think they got worse?
Yeah.
You think Maple Leafs
Look
are
at their
worse?
forward core. There's not much cooking up there.
Their defense are better?
I'm not, like it is. Their top pair is better.
Okay.
Their top pair is better.
I think their goaltending's better.
I don't know if they're going to get Yanni Hakanpää. I actually like Yanni Hakanpää, but I'm not sure what's going on there.
Strange that
but Oliver Ekman-Larsson, like, he plays two roles for this team, and we're getting a little off topic here. But yeah, okay, you got a new power play quarterback. You tried to do that with John Klingberg. Is he an elite power play quarterback? Is he going to change the fortunes of a power play that let the Maple Leafs down in the playoffs? I don't think he's that sort of talent. I think he's passable in ways that Morgan Riley hasn't been, but I don't think it's transformative. And he was the 1 weak link, I thought, on a team that just won the Stanley Cup in the Florida Panthers. Every time he was out there against top competition, it was an issue. So yeah, he could be sheltered on this Maple Leafs team. Every team has defensemen you want to shelter a little bit, but I still think there's immense problems, and I think it's a really thin forward group, and you can maybe make it thinner by deciding with John Tavares that you're not as important as you once were.
Okay, back on the discussion of the captaincy, like it's, I think you're totally right when you say, like, what good does it do? Obviously, if Austin Matthews is the leader of this team, he's already the leader of this team. A letter does one thing, but the way you perform, the way you're talked about, the way that John Tavares even talks about Austin Matthews, like, we know who the face of the team is. I don't think John Tavares is confused about that. I think you're right. It would be very difficult to imagine that. I mean, John's a pro, but that not being really devastating. You're 1 year away from renegotiating something.
That's interesting there. Like, does it change next year when you sign a new contract? When you go into negotiations again, it's like, okay, John.
There's already a clean cut.
There's a clean cut. So it's like, okay, John, we got different expectations now.
You're going to make less money, and you're going
half or whatever it's going to be.
You're going to get half the money, and we're also using this as a perfect pivot time to say the new face of our franchise is Austin Matthews in letter. He's been the face. He's the best player. Is it still
embarrassing?
No, it's
not at all.
I think it's understood at that point. Yeah. Like, if you're not reading the room at that point, that's a you thing. But I think at the end of this contract, it makes perfect sense to transition. A lot of teams do transitions. Sure. Like the Sharks have transitioned through all these stars that were captains.
Never won anything, but yeah.
Neither have the Leafs. But a lot of times legends have passed on the letter when they know it's time. I think it's time at the end of this contract when you decide what's next for you. Maybe it's not even here, but maybe it is here. And it's knowing that you're transitioning from being this guy to maybe being paid less, moving down the lineup, and understanding that your leadership also means giving somebody else the opportunity. Like, leaders know when to step up and step back.
Okay,
this
so
could be time.
Is that sort of the situation here? Like, you've been in competitive locker rooms many times in your life. If your captain, who is not the most important player on the team anymore, decides right now, let's say John Tavares decides, hey, I'm going to give it everything. And he did. I will give John Tavares credit. He played well in the playoffs. He gave them everything he had. He's just not that guy who is $11 million needle mover. But if he goes into the room and says, or goes to management and says, I know this is Austin's team. I want to be a part of the future. I'm going to make myself part of the future because I'm going to make less money. But I know Austin is ready to take that step. Is that like universally celebrated?
Yeah.
Or is that kind of a weird move and almost waving the white flag
No,
on your abilities.
I love that. I think that
So that's the captain move.
That
would be his
that's
best
what a
captain
captain
moment.
is.
His
Yeah.
best captain moment would be relinquishing the captaincy.
100%. And maybe it takes a little bit of like a like a hello.
And then it's not really a captain.
Then it's not as much. But anyway, this is still something, as Kipper said, might not even be happening, but maybe they're talking about it. And so are we now. And so are you online, because I've seen it all. The discourse has been there. So we have lots of time. Free agency still open. The Leafs might get better. The Leafs might change
What is
their
the reaction
jerseys.
for the Leafs offseason very quickly if the only move is changing one single letter
Well, they
on a
got a
sweater?
new head coach. I think we're forgetting
That's
that
true.
there's a new guy standing on the bench, barking orders at people, developing the players, putting people in positions to play in specific roles, running the show. So I keep forgetting they have Craig Berube too.
It is very Leaf, though, to be like, oh, that's it. That's our move.
Yeah, it might be. One thing that I really wanted to say, congratulations to Jessica Campbell. Today was announced as the first woman to work on the bench of an NHL team with the Seattle Kraken. I know Soupy a little bit through her time in the NCAA, CWHL. She was killing it, with Coachella Valley in the AHL. She's getting an awesome opportunity to continue to break records and make history, and well-deserved. And so congrats to her and the Seattle Kraken.
And you casually dropping Soupy, I believe you. You know her.
Yeah, it's sweet.
That is. Congratulations, Jessica Campbell.
Yeah.
She's going to have to get a lot out of Brendan Montour and Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah, big money over there too. Okay, folks, Blue Jays up next. You got a 7:07 first pitch. We'll see you tomorrow.
From the 680 News Radio Traffic Center, I'm Asher Roth. Westbound QEW west of Walker's Line, the center lane is blocked because of a crash. Watch for a stalled vehicle on the eastbound 401 east of Hurontario and the Express. The right lane's partially blocked. And there's a demonstration making its way from the U of T campus across Bloor Street. Right now, they're blocking the intersection of Bloor and Avenue Road. During Appliances Boxing Week at Rona Plus, purchase 3 or more LG smart appliances to elevate your home and save up to $300. Conditions apply. Visit rona.ca.
At Newboro, we develop unique plans so people can unlock the equity in their home. Unique like this one. It's called the Aaron and Catherine Plan. Aaron was in the middle of selling his small business and wanted to pay off some debt. Truth is, big banks are not too keen on small business. So we developed a plan that was the perfect fit. Because as we see it, you're anything but small. Reach out today. We'll work side by side to unlock the equity in your home.
Use your home to get a loan with Newboro.
License 13115.
You ever wonder what an announcer is actually doing when they record an ad? For all you know, I could be making a ham and cheese on rye extra pickles. Could be painting a self-portrait, one that's both a reflection of myself and a meditation on the human condition. Or I could be activating a 5G subscription phone plan from Public Mobile. So simple you can activate a new plan in minutes, anytime, anywhere. Like right here in this radio booth. Public Mobile. Different is calling.
You're active. You work out. Try Gold Standard 100% Whey, the world's #1 whey protein powder. Gold Standard 100% Whey contains a source of protein for maintenance of good health. Available in great tasting flavors. Gold Standard 100% Whey, only from Optimum Nutrition, the world's #1 sports nutrition brand. Find Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard 100% Whey wherever sports supplements are sold. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Great play. Let's go down to Jim on the field.
Unbelievable game, Rob. You had a rough start this year. What changed?
Yeah, getting more sleep. I was up every night snoring. So I saw Dr. Pillersdorf, and she used a laser to treat my snoring and gave me an oral appliance, like a sports mouth guard for my sleep apnea. Now my wife and I sleep through the night.
Thanks, Rob.
Problem snoring? Suffer from sleep apnea? Invest in yourself. Book an appointment with Dr. Paulette Pillersdorf. Call 647-243-2006. If DuroShed builds your shed, you can be doing all the things you'd rather do instead. If DuroShed builds the cabana for your pool, you can watch them sweat it out while you stay nice and cool. DuroShed has been constructing handsome storage sheds and pool cabanas for more than 30 years. Designed for a lifetime and your lifestyle. DuroShed, built right, on site, in just one day. Explore the gallery and the possibilities at duroshed.ca. That's DURO shed.ca.
We service fast. We return as well. And we win. All the same, let's be clear. It's not the best of women's tennis. It's the best of tennis, period.
Get your tickets to the National Bank Open, presented by Rogers.
My boss at the time was a guy who has the most Scottish name I have ever heard of in my life. His name was, and I'm not kidding, Willie Macbeth. Like, I'm Scottish, I think that's a bit too Scottish. Willie Macbeth. Sounds like a Shakespearean porn site.
From the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson and the Drew Carey Show, Craig Ferguson, the Pants on Fire Tour, October 24th, the Avalon Theater at Falls View Casino. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.
Hear every little detail. Save $40 on the Bose Solo Soundbar Series 2, the Today Showstopper on July 5th at TSC. This Bluetooth-enabled speaker gets you right into the action with a dialogue mode for crystal clear voices. Save $40 on the Bose Solo Soundbar Series 2, the best offer of the day on July 5th at TSC. Shop exciting offers every day at tsc.ca.
If you've got outdoor chores or jobs coming up, the first thing on your to-do list should be to identify all overhead power lines. Power lines are a leading cause of electrical death in Ontario. To stay safe and alive, always keep yourself and your equipment at least 3 meters away from overhead power lines. You don't have to touch a power line to receive a deadly shock. No outdoor work is worth dying for. A message from the Electrical Safety Authority. Learn more at esasafe.com/stop-look-live.
Summer drink days are on at McDonald's. Step up your summer with a fruit splash beverage, like our new raspberry pomegranate. Get a small for $2 plus tax today. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams a ball to right field, way back, way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second, the throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Time for revenge. The Blue Jays offense has started to roll recently, leading the American League in runs over the last 10 days. Now, though, Toronto tries to continue it against a Houston starter that no-hit the Blue Jays in April. Hello and welcome to a nice evening at Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Roger Lajoie is our host, Nick Blackmore is our producer, and Tom Young and Luke Swadron are our technical directors. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Gatineau and Saint-Marie, Quebec. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. If you hadn't guessed it already, Ronel Blanco is going today for the Astros, the righty who no-hit the Blue Jays in his first start of the season. Blanco, though, has run into some recent trouble, as has his opponent today, Yusei Kikuchi, for the Blue Jays. Stick around for first pitch on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or seventh-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting, because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bases loaded. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Strike three.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
1-0. Swing and a drive. Deep left field. That ball's back. That ball's into the seats. 3-run homer, George Springer, and the Blue Jays have blown it open. It's a 5-0 lead. Springer's 9th of the year, and Toronto has scored 4 runs with 2 outs.
That's kind of what we've been missing, is kind of that big blow there with guys on base, you know, and I don't really think it's a coincidence that in the last 10 days or so, it's been spring kind of right in the middle of it. Today, just another example. Whether it's him, Vlad, Bo, JT, swings like that really change momentum of the game.
That was manager John Schneider after yesterday's game, talking about George Springer and more. The offense has ticked up. Springer has been a big part of it. And as we get set for Game 3 of this series at Rogers Center, I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. George Springer, Chris, will lead off today for the Blue Jays.
Well, I think the most important thing when constructing a lineup, you want to put the guys that are getting on base in front of the guys that drive in runs. So George Springer, who was batting .500 in his last 7 games, with an on-base percentage of .556, which is very high, you want him in front of Spencer Horwitz. You want him in front of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., with the hopes that he's on base when those guys come up to bat. I love George Springer. I love the fact that he is hot right now, and I really like that he's in the leadoff spot.
We will see what Springer can do today against the team he led off for so many times in the Houston Astros on the other side. Before we get into game action, though, let's go over to the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Baltimore Orioles lead the AL East. They are 54-31. The Yankees in second are 54-33. Boston Red Sox in third, 45-39. Tampa Bay Rays are in fourth place. They are 43-42. And the Blue Jays are 39-46. Houston second in the AL West right now. They are also 43-32, like the Tampa Bay Rays. Blue Jays out on the field right now in their night mode uniforms. Their City Connects. Astros wear gray today. Who are in the lineups today, Chris, starting with Joe Espada's Houston Astros?
Well, leading off for those Astros and playing second base is Jose Altuve. Alex Bregman will play third and hit second. DHing and batting third is Yordan Alvarez. Behind the plate, batting fourth is Yainer Diaz. Jake Myers will be in center field and bat fifth. At short, batting sixth is Jeremy Pena. Mauricio Dubon is in left and will hit seventh. In right field, batting eighth is Chas McCormick. And batting ninth is Gray Kessinger. He'll be at first base. On the mound is righty Ronel Blanco. And for the Jays, leading off and DHing is George Springer. Spencer Horwitz will bat second and play second base. At first, batting third is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Bo Bichette is cleaning up and will play short. In center field, batting fifth is Dalton Varsho. Davis Schneider will play left field and hit sixth. At third, batting seventh is Ernie Clement. Batting eighth is Addison Barger. He'll be in left field. And batting ninth and catching is Brian Servin. On the mound is lefty Yusei Kikuchi.
Japanese left-hander makes his 18th start of the season, a 4-8 record, a 4.18 earned run average, 93 strikeouts and 21 walks in just over 83 innings of work. It has been a struggle for Kikuchi over the last run of starts. After a really impressive start to the season, he has slid backwards a little bit, at least in terms of his numbers.
Yeah, he's given up 13 earned runs in his last 3 starts. The most alarming thing in those last 3 starts is he's only walked 2. That means he's leaving a ton of pitches over the middle.
In those last 3 starts, 5 home runs allowed. Only gave up 7 home runs in his first 14 starts. Jose Altuve comes up to a chorus of boos to begin this game. Right-handed hitting second baseman. Stands 5'6", open stance in the box. Looking out at Kikuchi, the pitch. Swing and a foul ball into the stands. Strike one. Time of the first pitch today, 7:07 Eastern. Pretty cloudy in downtown Toronto, although white clouds overhead. 27 degrees Celsius right now at first pitch. Roof open. Here's the 0-1. Swing, 0-1. Swing and a miss. Altuve lost his helmet on 97 at the top of the zone. It's 0-2. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, and Yordan Alvarez will hit this inning. Kikuchi kicks, fires, and misses high and tight. Three straight fastballs for the lefty to start this outing. Throws a curveball, a slider, and a changeup as well. Here's 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Had him way out in front on the curveball. Altuve flails at it. That's the first out.
That was nasty. I said last night I have no idea how to get Jose Altuve out. But there is a way. You throw fastballs up and in at his hands, but then Yusei Kikuchi was able to just throw in that great curveball on the fourth pitch, and Jose Altuve was way out in front of it.
Altuve is down back in the dugout. Here's Alex Bregman, the third baseman. First pitch is a slider for strike one. Home plate umpire today is the crew chief, Dan Iasonia. Ben Mays at first, C.B. Buckner at second, and Adam Beck umpiring third. 0-1. Just outside. 1-1 count now. Kikuchi against Bregman. Alex Bregman, a .248 hitter, 17 doubles, and 9 home runs. On the verge of free agency, 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2. You figure he'll be a pretty heavily sought-after free agent this year on the open market.
I think he wants to stay in Houston.
They have him, they have Tucker to try and sign. 1-2. Swing and a bouncer foul, still 1 and 2. And they also have, the question of, do you bring back Justin Verlander, who doesn't look like he'll lock in his vesting option, which he had to pitch a certain number of innings, so he could be a free agent. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bregman just fouled off a curveball below the zone. Here's the next pitch. Just missed downstairs with a changeup. Bregman bent his knee but did not swing. 2-2.
And I think the interesting thing about Bregman is he hasn't been great over the last 3 or 4 years, but he's been pretty consistent. And the Houston Astros, I guess, have to ask themselves, do they want that guy back?
2-2 is bounced in front of the plate, full count. You go back to 2018 and 2019. He's an all-star both years. He's top 5 in MVP voting both years. In 19, he finished second to Mike Trout in MVP voting and won the Silver Slugger at third. 3-2. Foul tipped into the glove, strike 3. He went back to the changeup, and actually the slider gets Bregman. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Kikuchi to start his outing.
Yeah, I know it's early on, but Yusei Kikuchi is pitching a lot like the guy early on in this season, throwing his fastballs for strikes and then mixing in that breaking ball late.
Now he gets his lone left-on-left matchup of the day. 4 lefty hitters on the bench, but Yordan Alvarez is in the lineup. First pitch to Alvarez, hit on the ground to second base, and they say it went off the foot of Alvarez, or did it? They're calling him out. Alvarez never ran. He is up the third baseline right now, and there's some confusion. At first base, Ben May called him out. Horwitz picking up the ball and throwing it to first, but Alvarez is acting like it hit him in the foot. The call is that it didn't, though, and he will walk off the field, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. A good start for Kikuchi. A scoreless top of the first. George Springer leads off against Ronel Blanco next.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
IKF slams the ball down the left field line, way back and gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the first inning, brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. No score, Blue Jays and Astros, bottom of the first. Thanks so much for tuning in today. George Springer leading off for Toronto. The pitch from Ronel Blanco. High, or no, called strike one, pardon me. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blanco, the righty, making his 16th start, the 0-1. Low and away. It's been an impressive season for Blanco, really his first time as a regular starter. He's 8-3 with a 2.5 earned run average. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Springer unloads on that fastball, but missed it to make it 1-2. Springer batting .215, hit his 9th homer of the year yesterday. 1-2. High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. For George Springer, it's the first time he's hitting a leadoff since May 17th. 2-2 pitch. Swinging a chopper, foul off to the left.
The thing that makes Ronel Blanco so good is everything looks like a fastball. The changeup looks like a fastball. The little slider that he has looks like a fastball. Then, of course, he has that mid-90s fastball that's so effective.
Just skipped the changeup to the plate to make it a full count. Blanco has a four-seamer, a slider, a change, and a very occasional curve. And if you didn't know already, he no-hit the Blue Jays on April 1st, his first start of the season. Wasn't even supposed to open in the rotation, but injuries to Urquidy and Verlander put him in there. 3-2 pitch, again bounced foul. That was another change. And one thing John Schneider said today was that first time around, they didn't know a ton about him. He hadn't pitched in the majors much, and he threw a lot more changeups than they were expecting. They're a little bit more ready for him today. 3-2. Is a fastball, low, ball 4. Springer takes a leadoff walk.
And he just had an 8-pitch at bat. Ronel Blanco hasn't gotten a guy out yet. That's what you want in a leadoff hitter right there. Obviously, George Springer is seeing the ball very well right now.
Another guy who's seeing the ball pretty well, Spencer Horwitz, the .306 batter in 21 games who hit his 3rd home run of the season yesterday and his first at Rogers Center. Runner on first, nobody out, no score, the pitch. Inside, ball 1. And obviously the Blue Jays didn't see Blanco pitch much with runners on last time they faced him because he no-hit Toronto. Springer leading off first, the 1-0 is downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Go back to that Blanco start. It was only Springer who reached base that day. He had walked twice in the no-hitter, and no one else got on. 2-0. Swing and a pop-up. Very high. Foul down the first baseline. Called for by Greg Kessinger, and he makes the catch for the first out.
That was a tough pitch right there. A fastball right on the inside part of the plate, right in on the hands of Horwitz. He just got tied up. That's a big first out for Blanco.
Little nod out to Blanco. He went 1 for 3 with a double. He also walked and scored a couple of runs last night.
line, curling over toward foul territory. Long run, McCormick dives, and it gets down. It's a foul ball. Vladdy was pointing to the left like it's fair, but they call it foul. McCormick too slow to get up. He dove right near that retaining wall, and I think he banged up his right knee. He is walking with some noticeable difficulty over to pick that ball up. Still doesn't look okay. And Joe Espada is out of the dugout right now. Looks like McCormick is going to be fine and not checked on. But he went slamming into the retaining wall.
Yeah, that was definitely an awkward fall. Hit his head against that short wall out there. Hit his knee. I'm sure his body's not going to be feeling great tomorrow morning.
It was a foul ball for sure, though, despite the point of Guerrero toward fair. So it's 0-1, still a runner on first. 1 out, no score, bottom 1. Right on right, the pitch. Hit foul off to the right, 0-2. Announced just minutes ago that Guerrero beat out Ryan Mountcastle for that first base starting spot, and the numbers kind of speak for themselves. A .298 hitter this year, 18 doubles, 13 homers, 50 RBIs. 0-2. Down and away, ball 1. So Vlad has made it in 4 straight seasons now to the All-Star game. No All-Star game in 2020, and he didn't play the whole year in 19 when he first came up. Turn and throw over to first. Springer dives back in safe. You got to keep an eye on George Springer. He's 9 for 9 stealing bases this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if George Springer tries to steal a bag during this at-bat.
Held on by Greg Kessinger at first, a right-handed first baseman. Springer takes an extra step, and the 1-2. Just upstairs. That is a gutsy take by Guerrero, but he lays off, and it's 2-2.
I mean, we have the benefit of that strike box, but Yainer Diaz did a great job framing that pitch, making it look a lot lower than it actually was.
Blanco sets at the belt, looks at first, the 2-2. Swing and a bouncer through the right side into right field, a base hit. Springer around second. He wants third. Throw from McCormick is late. A head first dive by George Springer into third. Guerrero weaving his finger around back at the dugout. He wants them to keep it going. His single has made it first and third, 1 out.
And that's such a good piece of hitting. There was a gigantic hole on the right side of that infield. Jose Altuve was shaded towards second. Greg Kessinger was holding on Springer at first, but that's such a good 2-strike approach right there, taking that pitch on the outside part of the plate and just finding that hole, hitting it through that hole, and now the Blue Jays have runners on first and third and only 1 out.
Take a snapshot right now. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. after that hit is a 300 batter. Last time he ended a game hitting 300 or more was May 26th. So runners on the corners, no score, bottom of the first inning, and with 1 out, here comes Bo Bichette. With Springer going up to the leadoff spot, Bichette today hits cleanup. No Justin Turner in the lineup. We'll have more on that in the 5th. So Bichette with a chance to drive in a run, maybe more. Blanco from the stretch, the pitch. Outside, ball 1. And hey, they have a hit against Ronel Blanco in the first inning. No pitcher has ever no-hit the same team twice in a year. That continues here. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball deep center field. Myers going back at the track, makes the catch. Springer will tag from third. He'll jog home. It's a long, loud sacrifice fly for Bo Bichette and a 1-0 Blue Jay lead.
Well, I thought Bo Bichette got that. He kind of held his finish and walked a couple steps to first base. It looked like he got enough of it to get it out of center field, but not quite, probably about 3 or 4 feet from that center field wall.
Does go down as the 29th RBI of the season for Bichette. Blue Jays take a first inning lead for the second straight game. Here's the pitch to Dalton Varsho. High, ball 1. 2 outs, 1-0 Toronto. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on first. Right on left, the pitch. Hooked on the ground, foul, first base side. 1-1. Dalton Varsho's in center field today, batting 195 on the season, 11 homers and 35 RBIs. One. Called a strike. That's tough for Varsho. That pitch looked high, but he takes it, and it's called strike 2 to make the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Infield shifted to the pull against the lefty hitter. Shortstop Jeremy Pena up the middle. Outfield straight away. The kick and the pitch. Down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, you can really see where they're trying to pitch Varsho. Yainer Diaz is up and in with that target. And Blanco's thrown a few fastballs up and in. That's a tough pitch that Dalton Varsho has really struggled with this season.
The 2-2. Swing and a looper foul just over the netting and caught on the fly by a fan in a gray jersey behind the third base dugout. "23 pitches in this inning for the righty Blanco. He's set at the bell. A look at Guerrero at first, and the 2-2. Foul back into the screen. Ronel Blanco, a 2016 signing by the Astros for just $5,000 at 22 years old. That's 6 years older than most guys would sign at. Righty's 2-2 again. Called strike 3. Freezes him right there with a changeup. Varsho goes down to end the inning, but the Blue Jays get on the board. A walk from Springer, a hit from Guerrero, and a sacrifice fly from Bichette, and it's 1.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So what are you waiting for? Come and see us at Energy Power Sports in Oakville and reserve yours today.
So I first came to Edward Jones with a great deal of trepidation when I first met with my advisor, and I really was feeling vulnerable about what I would have to share. I was, of course, pleasantly surprised to find that there was absolutely no judgment and a lot of support. And when it was time to get serious, he really took my hand and helped me to do that.
Edward Jones. We do money differently. Visit edwardjones.ca/different.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down his second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Second inning at Rogers Center. 1-0. The Blue Jays lead the Houston Astros in Game 3 of this 4-game set. Yusei Kikuchi kicks and fires. First pitch strike on Yainer Diaz. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. They just showed Rogers Center that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is an all-stars starter. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And a pretty big applause here from the Toronto faithful.
Well, let's not forget Vlad hit .219 in April with just 2 homers.
And now he's hitting 300 with 13.
That's impressive.
On pace to hit around 100 RBIs. 0-2. Swinging a line drive, hooking toward the left field corner. That's down and rocketing into the wall. Diaz around first. He will stop at second with a leadoff double, his 14th double of the season.
That pitch is just too good, especially on an 0-2 count. That was a slider, I believe, that was supposed to be back foot. You could see Brian Servin setting up inside. And Diaz just goes down and gets it. That pitch has to be in the dirt.
Yeah, it was low of the zone, but it was still over the plate. It wasn't in off the plate, and like you said, it wasn't in the dirt either. So a leadoff double, 1-0 Blue Jays. The pitch to Jake Myers. Foul back, 0-1.
And we talked about that before the game. He's given up 13 earned runs in his last 3 starts, but he's only walked 2 guys. That means he's giving the opposing team too many good pitches, and that was just an example right there.
A look back at second at Diaz, and the pitch. Hit foul. That'll make it no balls and 2 strikes. Myers will ask for time and step out of the box. Center fielder throws left but hits right. A .251 batter, 8 homers, 33 RBIs. Peak at second, Kikuchi with one more look, and the 0-2. Swing and a foul off to the right. We're in the second inning, which is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. New baseball for Kikuchi. Lefty tugs on the brim of his cap with his glove and now comes set at the belt. The 0-2. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kikuchi with 2 strikeouts and a ground out in the first. We got a second look at that weird Yordan Alvarez ground out. He didn't hit it off himself. 1-2 pitch skipped to the plate, 2-2. Although he was hunched over like he might have struck himself with a foul ball, he must have rolled an ankle or twisted something there. He's the DH, so we'll see if he hits his next turn around.
And some guys are just embarrassed that they hit the ball as weakly as they did.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't think he's doing that.
I don't know.
Embarrassed? The guy's hit 2 5-million-foot homers in this series. He can ground out once. 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3.
But I think, and I'm not taking anything away from him if he actually hurt himself there, but to me, it's kind of like when a guy makes a bad pitch, he looks at his hand, or a guy misplays a ground ball, he looks at his glove, something like that. I could be completely wrong, but that's the only reason why I said that.
I doubt it, but it's possible. It's possible. 1 out, runner on second. Here's Jeremy Pena, the shortstop for the Astros. A look at second, Kikuchi's pitch. Foul tipped into the glove, strike 1. He's got the good fastball today at 97, and that one was right at the top of the zone.
Yeah, you could see Jeremy Pena staring out at Yusei Kikuchi, nodding his head. He knows he has that good fastball today.
3rd start in a row in this series for Pena. Had a double, a hit by pitch, and a run scored yesterday. 0-1 is in the dirt. On the season, the right-handed hitter bats .278, 15 doubles, and 6 homers. Pena, a 3rd rounder, played at Maine, drafted in 2018 by the Astros.
What do you think baseball is like in late February at the University of Maine?
I think you're on the road. I think you're definitely on the road. 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Pena, born in Santo Domingo, but grew up in Rhode Island. Dad, Geronimo Pena, played as second baseman for the Cardinals in the early 90s. 2-1 pitch. Hit on the ground to third, fielded there by Clement. He'll throw over to first. Runner doesn't go anywhere at second, Diaz, and there are 2 down.
Normally you'll see the third baseman look back the runner at second, but I don't think Yerdy Clement even looked Yainer Diaz back. I'm assuming that he knows that Yainer Diaz isn't a great runner and probably isn't going anyways.
Perhaps relying too on Bichette or others to communicate to him if he needed. But he gets the safe out, and here's Mauricio Dubon now with the runner on second, 2 down. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Dubon Dubon, a .289 hitter, 3 homers, 29 RBIs. Trying to prevent the Astros from wasting the leadoff double by Yainer Diaz. Diaz still on second. Kikuchi peeking at him. 1-0 pitch. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Dubon's open in his stance. Waggles his bat above his head. Here's the 2-0. Fastball right on the outside edge. Kind of like Pena, Dubon, also born abroad but grew up in the U.S., born in Honduras but moved to Sacramento as a teenager. The 2-1. Fouled back into the screen, a fastball right at the top of the zone, 2-2. Dubon, though, not drafted nearly as high as Jeremy Pena. He was a 26th rounder by the Red Sox in 2013 out of high school. If you go back and look at that 26th round in 2013, everyone who was drafted that round and did sign didn't make the majors, except for Dubon. Cal Quantrill was drafted that round but didn't sign. A few other guys didn't sign, but he's the only one that's made it that actually signed.
Cal Quantrill was a 26th rounder.
Out of high school.
No. I know he was a first rounder out of Stanford,
yeah.
But that's pretty impressive.
2-2. Fouled off to the right. It could have been, I mean, you've seen this, one of those situations where they kind of know he's going to go to college, one of these guys, but you take a flyer. Blue Jays did that with Rowdy Tellez years ago and actually convinced him to play in the majors as a 30th rounder. You'll see it from time to time. 2-2 again. Bounce to the plate, 3-2.
And I think you see it more often now because each team has an allotment of dollars. They can spend as much as they want on a 20th rounder. Or sorry, there's no 20th round anymore.
Well, no, that's the last round.
Oh, so 20th is the last round. They can spend as much as they want on a 20th rounder. They can spend as much as they want on a third rounder, but they just have that allotment of money that Major League Baseball has given them.
Yeah, so if you were to spend less than the expected amount on your early round picks, hey, you might have some money left over. Maybe you take a flyer and say to a kid, you want to go to college or do you want $500,000? And you see what happens. Dubon, though, has fought through the adversity of being a 26th rounder. 3-2 pitch, fouled off to the right.
And interestingly enough, a lot of teams will draft a certain player in the first round because they know they can get him for less, and that means they have more money to spend on their second rounder, their third rounder, their fourth rounder, and so on.
There is no draft even close to as complicated as the Major League Baseball draft. 3-2. Check swing, pitch down and in, appeal to first. He went around, says Ben May. That's an inning-ending strikeout for Yusei Kikuchi. Dubon shaking his head. He does not like it. For Kikuchi, it's another 2 strikeouts. Dubon slams his helmet into the ground, and we will go to the bottom of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by...
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hey, this is Danny Jansen. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This Sunday, July 7th, 10 Blue Jays fans will be evenly splitting over $1.4 million, and you could be one of the lucky winners. Jays Care is giving you a little extra time to join in on the fun, as this jackpot will end while the Blue Jays are on the road in Seattle. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Blue Jays over Astros. Ronel Blanco pitches to Davis Schneider. First pitch is in there, called strike one.
And just to clarify, because I had to ask, that money is tax-free.
It is. It is tax-free. 0-1. Outside. And I mean, right now, you'd get $143,000, a little more than that. And there's still 4 more days for people to buy in. 1-1. Down and away, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Imagine just somebody handing you a check for $143,000 in change for no reason.
I have to imagine, because that's the only time I'll ever see that. 2-1 pitch. He went around, very emphatic there from home plate ump Dan Iasonia on that changeup low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Schneider hitting .214, 15 doubles, 10 homers. 2-2. Down and away, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The righty Blanco takes a breath, steps to the left, and the 3-2. Swing and a pop-up right side of the diamond. Calling for it, the first baseman Kessinger on the turf. He makes a one-handed catch, 1 out.
What would be the first thing you did if somebody handed you a check for $143,000?
I go buy a lot of food. I'd celebrate with a lot of food.
That's a good answer. Safe answer.
Because you gotta, you're gonna save a lot of it, but you gotta celebrate a little bit.
Don't go buy a car.
No, yeah. First pitch to Ernie Clement. Called strike 1, 1 out, bases empty. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Blue Jays. Clement's a .268 hitter, 10 doubles, 4 homers. Swings at the next pitch and hits it softly on the ground is short. Picked up by Pena, throw to first in time, 2 outs. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Collect air miles on your next home improvement buys at Timbermart. And hey, make it a double play by scoring even more air miles when you purchase with your Timbermart credit card. For details, visit Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Addison Barger hitting for the Blue Jays with 2 outs. Ronel Blanco on the mound for the Astros. It's 1-0 Toronto. The pitch. Slow breaking ball, misses high, looked pretty good, but they call it a ball, 1-0.
That was that rare curveball that he really only throws 5% of the time. Didn't really do much.
1-0. High and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Starters have been giving Barger a lot of breaking pitches in his young career. Playing in his 18th Major League game, he swings and fouls off a slider. It's 2-1. Barger hitting .170, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. Came up with a double and an RBI yesterday, went 1 for 3. Next pitch. Fouled off the glove of the catcher Diaz. It's 2-2.
This is going to be a tough matchup for Addison Barger. Ronel Blanco is such a good pitcher, knows exactly what he's throwing. He has command of all 4 of his pitches. Hard in, soft away. I imagine that's how they're going to attack Addison Barger.
2-2. Trying to go outside there with, I believe, a changeup, but it floated way high and outside. It was a change, and it's full count. Brian Servin waiting on deck. Barger will ask for time, adjust his deep blue batting gloves. They match the blue that shines off of that dark City Connect uniform. 3-2. Swing and a foul back into the netting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ronel Blanco throws a changeup right here. He just threw that good fastball right down the middle.
3-2. Swing and a fly ball, shallow left field. Dubon coming in, is under it, and makes the catch to end the inning. Blanco sets down the Blue Jays in order and sends us to the third It's 1-0 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
IKF flips to Schneider, one sidearm to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center, downtown Toronto. The Blue Jays leading the Houston Astros 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Yusei Kikuchi's pitch is taken high by Chas McCormick. 1 ball and no strikes. Sun is peeking out a little bit from the clouds. Just past the left field corner. A little bit warmer now than first pitch. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. I mean, the thermometer isn't saying it's warmer, but it feels warmer at least.
Well, you're wearing a jacket right now. I'm in short sleeves.
Pull over. 1-1. In the dirt, 2-1.
Would you call that a fall jacket?
Yeah.
It says it's 29 degrees, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels probably like 23, maybe 24.
It's always a bit colder up here too. Elevated, got kind of a little bit of a wind stream goes through here. 2-1 pitch. Fastball at the knees, right on the inside edge, 2-2. McCormick, Greg Kessinger, and Jose Altuve hitting this inning for Houston. McCormick bats .213 this year. Swings at the 2-2 and hits it foul over the screen off to the right. Righty hitters only played 47 games this season due to injury. 5 doubles, 3 homers. It's coming off a career year, but things have not been as smooth this season. 2-2. Swing and a line shot on one hop into left center field for a base hit. Second inning in a row that the Astros come up with a leadoff hit. It's a single here for McCormick to start the third.
And Yusei just missed his spot a little bit. He throws that fastball right down the middle. It was a good fastball at 96 miles an hour, but Brian Serban was set up on the inside part of the plate. And again, an example of Yusei just missing his spot, leaving a pitch right over the middle of the plate, and McCormick drilled that thing into center field.
So Kikuchi will try to work through some trouble again. Here's Greg Kessinger. First pitch cut on and missed, strike 1. Kessinger is just playing in his 12th major league game this season, looking for his first hit. 0 for 11. Second year getting games in the majors. 0-1. Went around on a breaking ball in the dirt. Nice sliding block by Servin right near the back ankle of the right-handed hitter. It's 0-2.
Yeah, that's where he wanted that pitch. That back foot slider bounced just a little bit. An easy block for Servin, but I wouldn't be surprised if he throws that pitch again.
Runner on first is McCormick. Nobody out. 2 strikes on the batter, Kessinger, and the pitch. Bounced it again. He did go back to the breaking ball, but this one skipped in front of the plate, so Kessinger laid off.
And I like that they threw that pitch right down the middle, but below the strike zone. It looks like a hittable pitch out of the hand, looks like a strike out of the hand, and then just dips below that strike zone.
Kikuchi looks out at first and will step and throw over there. It was a pretty big lead by McCormick, who got back in standing. Bearded lefty Kikuchi looks out toward home plate. A peek at first, the kick and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball, shallow right field. Addison Barger moving in, makes the catch. And there's one out.
You look pretty comfortable out there. Nice easy catch for him.
Right field, he's actually played a good handful. Left field is the position that's newer to Barger, but he's split time mostly between third and right over the last while at AAA.
And left field is a harder position because of the top spin that you get from lefties and then righties pulling the baseball.
Here's Jose Altuve, 1 out, runner on first. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the third. The pitch. Called strike 1. We're in the third inning, which is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Gatineau and Saint-Marie, Quebec. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. 307 hitter Altuve struck out in the first. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Just outside. $17 doubles on the year for Altuve. He is just Mr. Consistent in this lineup, has 13 home runs as well. 1-1. It's hit in the air, foul. Very high and deep into the seats, 1-2.
You just never know what he's going to get the barrel to. I feel like he should have hit that slider right there, but for whatever reason, he was way out in front, fouls it back. I think the safest pitch right here would be either bounce a breaking ball or a fastball up above the strike zone.
Kikuchi sets. Looking at first, will throw over there. McCormick jogs back to the bag safely. Altuve had 3 hits yesterday, one of them on a Nate Pearson pitch way out of the zone. The 1-2. Swing and a foul back. They did go for the elevated fastball inside as well, and Altuve just tipped it behind him.
And I'm sure a lot of people that haven't really seen Jose Altuve hit all that much, they would probably say that hit was lucky against Nate Pearson, the one way off the plate, but it really wasn't. That's what he's trying to do there.
2,153 hits for Jose Altuve in his career, and just signed a new contract, so he might be around for a while still. He takes the 1-2 low, 2-2. Altuve this offseason signed a 5-year, $125 million extension that starts next year. He's still on the final year of his 5-year, $151 million deal that he signed in 2018. 2-2, low, 3-2.
When that deal ends, you'll be 39 years old.
But he's got to be, if you're thinking about, is there someone in the game right now, and maybe I'm forgetting someone, I apologize if I do. If you're looking at who's going to come up with 3,000 hits next, he's got a shot. 2,100 right now. He needs to put together some good years. 3-2. Called strike 3. Fastball on the outside edge. Altuve walks back to the dugout. 2 down.
And that was nasty right there. 97 at the bottom, and at that bottom corner, I would say it's an unhittable pitch, but the one guy that could probably do damage on that pitch is Jose Altuve, and he just took it.
Perhaps looking for something softer, he just crouched down and accepted his fate right after the pitch landed. Here's the first offering to Alex Bregman. Just outside, ball 1. 5 strikeouts for Yusei Kikuchi. in 10 batters faced. He's given up 2 hits, including the leadoff single this inning to Chas McCormick, who's still on first. Guerrero holding him on. Rest of the infield way over to the left against the righty hitter. 1-0 to Bregman. Bounce to the plate. Nice block by Servin. 2 balls, no strikes.
Did you notice what Dan Iasonia did on that first pitch ball? He brought his right hand up like he was about to call a strike and then changed his mind. And then everybody started barking at him. He said, no, sorry, I made a mistake.
I mean, the right call was ball.
I'm surprised you didn't catch that because you love that kind of stuff.
Hey, if you make the right call, you make the right call. 2-0. Low ball 3. Iasonia is one of the more experienced umpires in the game at this point. 3 balls and no strikes to Alex Bregman with Yordan Alvarez on deck. Kikuchi's going to step off. In a moment, we'll go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. A strike there called against Bregman. All the All-Star starters have been announced in the American League, not just Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but 2 other guys in this game will start in the All-Star game for the American League. Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez. 3-1 pitch, outside, ball 4. Bregman with a walk, McCormick up to second, and here comes the American League All-Star starter at designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez.
Any surprises for you in either of the starting
I'll
lineups?
read through it. I don't think so, really. It's Rutschman catching, Guerrero at first, Jose Altuve at second, Jose Ramirez at third, Gunnar Henderson at short, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Stephen Kwan in the outfield, Yordan Alvarez at DH. It's tough that Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't make it, but between Witt and Henderson, it was an impossible choice at short. So I don't think anyone in there is a crazy pick at all. Here's the first pitch to Alvarez. Outside, ball 1. What about you?
Yeah, I think that the American League, in my opinion, was a little bit easier to call than the National League. I mean, all those guys are deserving of that starting lineup, especially Vlad. I'm not biased, though.
Here's the 1-0. Swinging a foul tip into the glove, 1-1. I think it would have been, this is the pros and cons of fan voting. If Vlad had gone up against Josh Naylor in that finale, I think there's a little bit more competition. But the numbers, Vlad's at Mountcastle, he was better than him offensively in almost every metric. Here's the 1-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's an easy choice. Just looking at the numbers, unless you're an Orioles fan. Of course, there's a lot of Orioles fans that are voting Mountcastle, but if you're just looking at the numbers, Vlad clearly deserved it.
First and second, the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball freezes Alvarez, dropped a curve on the outside edge, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the third. Alvarez has hurt Toronto with a pair of home runs in this series, including a 3-run shot yesterday. Kikuchi's going to step off. It's the first time since early April 7th and 8th at Texas, that Yordan Alvarez has homered in back-to-back games. 2-2. Swing and a liner left center field. Varsho on the run. It's past him and bouncing into the wall. Around third, McCormick scores easily. They give the stop sign to Bregman at third. It's a tie game on an RBI double by Yordan Alvarez. 1-1, top of the third inning.
I mean, Yordan Alvarez is just so good. You can second guess that pitch all you want, but that's the pitch that I would have thrown. A good fastball, 97 miles an hour on the outside part of the plate. That's not a bad pitch. That was actually 99 miles an hour. Yordan just drops that barrel and hits it into the gap in left center.
Team leading 20th double on the season for Alvarez, and now increases his team leading RBI total to 47. They're going to go out to the mound as Pete Walker right now talking to Yusei Kikuchi, who is up to 60 pitches already here with 2 outs in the top of the third.
I mean, he looks good. That last fastball, like we said, 99 miles an hour. He looks strong. He's making good pitches. And even that last pitch was not a bad pitch. Unfortunately, he just comes up against a guy that is swinging a hot bat.
Mound meeting over, by the way, on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. The Yankees lost to the Reds yesterday. They're trailing early on today to the Reds. 2-0 is the score in favor of Cincinnati. Noel V. Marte, who started the year with a performance-enhancing drug suspension, has just hit his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot. Second and third, 2 outs, and the first pitch to Yainer Diaz, way high and outside. 1-0. 1-1 game, top of the third. So it's 2-0 Reds, by the way, over Yankees. Bottom of the third in New York. 2-1, the Red Sox lead the Marlins in the 5th inning in Miami. 1-0 pitch to Diaz. Fouled back into the screen, 1-1. Tampa Bay and Kansas City getting underway at Kauffman Stadium. Yesterday it was the Rays who beat the Royals. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Kikuchi trying to keep it at 1-1 in Toronto. His 1-1 pitch. Diaz takes outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And keep in mind, you do have that open base at first base and Jake Myers coming up next. So you don't want to throw something down the middle that Yainer Diaz can really drive.
Diaz doubled in his first at-bat. Kikuchi struck out Myers in his first at-bat. The kick and the pitch. High and outside, ball 3. Some big arm side misses, though, for Kikuchi, which could be a little bit alarming.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's really getting on top of that changeup. That pitch right there, he kind of threw it like a pizza, like he was delivering a pizza.
I like that. Step off from Kikuchi. It's been a long inning. He's faced 6 batters in the frame, given up 2 hits and a walk and 1 run. The 3-1. Swing and a foul ball. Good fastball at the top of the plate, or top of the zone rather, middle of the plate. It's nothing in, well, pardon me, it's 3-2. Catcher Diaz steps back in, batting from the right side. Bright orange batting gloves and an orange arm sleeve on his right arm. 3-2 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Missed just off the plate inside, but really missed the spot, so Servin had to jab at it. And Diaz will head down to first. Bases are now loaded for the Astros with 2 outs.
Really good velocity on that fastball, 98, but nowhere near the location that he needed with that pitch. You could see Brian Servin jumping almost across the plate to catch that baseball. But like we said, open base at first base, not a bad walk right there.
Bases are loaded now, 1-1, top of the third. Pitch to Jake Myers is hit in the air, center field. Varsho racing back at the wall. He's got space, and he makes the catch to end the inning. The Astros tie it up. A run on 2 hits. Alvarez's RBI double makes it 1-1. They do leave the bases loaded, though, and we will go.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
To the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Roger Lajoie is our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Luke Swadron and Tom Young, our technical directors. Brian Serven will bat first in this inning for the Blue Jays. George Springer and Spencer Horwitz batting after him against the righty Ronel Blanco. Blanco, the Dominican right-hander, really settled down in the second inning after giving up a run in the first, retired the Blue Jays in order. Righty faces the plate, gets into the wind, and his pitch. Fastball on the inside edge, strike one. First Major League action for Brian Serven since April 13th, 0 for 8 to start this season, 0-1. Started to swing, but holds back. It's a fastball for strike two. Serven asks for time, stretches his arms above his head. He's got black batting gloves and a black bat to match the dark jersey.
He's actually having a decent year in AAA. 270, 3 homers, 14 RBIs, and 115 at-bats.
0-2 pitches outside, 1-2. A 787 on base plus slugging. Told me that it's been a good year for him so far, he thinks. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball off to the right. And into the seats, still 1-2.
And his on-base percentage is almost 400 at 396.
That'll fly.
It's a guy that takes some pitches.
The wind in the 1-2. Fouled off again to the right. Doing a good job of staying alive here. Went down 0-2, but has now seen 5 pitches so far in this plate appearance. That has the righty Blanco at 45 pitches on the day. No outs, bottom 3. The 1-2 again is hit on the ground at the shortstop. Pena, 2022 Gold Glover, throws over to first. And there's one out. So that brings up George Springer, who walked to start this game and came in to score. He's responsible for the one Blue Jay run in this 1-1 game. Blanco winds the pitch. Check swing, pitch down and away, appeal down to first, no swing. It's 1-0.
Alex Bregman is playing way back. This would be a perfect time to just drop down a bunt here.
Although he knows Springer well, not much of a bunter. He swings at the next pitch and bounces it back. Caught by Horwitz off the hop in the on-deck circle, 1-1.
Not much of a bunter, but it is a lost start. If someone can drop a bunt right here, they'll just steal a base hit a lot of the time.
1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. Springer was really a big part of the evolution to the non-prototypical leadoff hitter, leading off for Houston for so many years as a power guy. 2-1 pitch hit foul to the right, 2-2. Second all-time in leadoff home runs, trailing only the greatest leadoff hitter in the history of the game, Ricky Henderson. 2-2. Inside, almost hit him. Springer brings that front left elbow out of the way. It's now a full count. Although he's not prototypical all the time, this is one thing he does that you've always in baseball wanted your leadoff hitter to do. He's going to make the pitcher work. Second straight full count he's seen. 3-2 pitch. And he'll take it upstairs for a second straight walk.
And Ronel Blanco just threw his 52nd pitch, and he's only thrown 2 1/3 innings.
It's not looking early on like either starter is going to go incredibly deep in this game. Kikuchi finished the third on 67 pitches, and like you said, Blanco over 50 here with only 1 out. Spencer Horwitz to the plate, 0 for 1, popped out to first base in the first. The pitch. On the inside edge, that rare curve for strike one. From the stretch, Blanco looks in, kicks, fires. Swinging a fly ball down the left field line, slicing and into the stands. It's 0-2.
And if there's one guy in this lineup that can stay on that good changeup from Blanco, it's Spencer Horwitz. He was right on that thing, maybe a hair out in front, but he just fouled it into the stands.
Horwitz asks for time right before Blanco was about to go into his motion, steps out of the box. Rather than the servant look where he goes for the black batting gloves, Horwitz has contrasted the dark jersey with white cleats and white batting gloves. 0-2, high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 22nd game of the year for Horwitz, his 18th start. 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Just clips the outside edge with a changeup, does Blanco. Horwitz doesn't think so, but it did look like it hit the strike box. That's the second out.
Yeah, Horwitz didn't love that call. Kind of stood in the batter's box for a couple of seconds, shaking his head, slowly walking back to the dugout. But from our view, that looked like a strike, a good pitch.
So now 2 down, still a runner on first. 1-1, bottom of the third. The pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Swing and a slow bouncer foul down the third baseline. 0-1. Next pitch. Line by Vlad to the shortstop, Pena, who makes the catch off to his left and ends the inning. The Blue Jays come up with a walk, but Springer is stranded on first, and after 3 innings, it's 1-1. You're listening to Blue Jays.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Drew. Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, you bet.
Back to the desk.
Book your appointment with Dr. Paulette Pillersdorf. Call 647-243-2006. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 4th inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 1-1 game. Yusei Kikuchi's first pitch is hit in the air to center by Jeremy Pena. Barely moving from his starting position, Dalton Varsho makes the catch. 1 out. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Roger Lajoie, our host, Nick Blackmore, producer, Luke Swadron, and Tom Young, our technical directors. Mauricio Dubon is up now, the left fielder today for the Astros. Dubon didn't start yesterday, didn't play. Day before that, started at second base. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Right-handed hitter looks out at Kikuchi. Corners are pinched in case Dubon tries to bunt. 1-0. Down and in. 2 balls, no strikes. Doesn't get a whole lot more versatile than Mauricio Dubon, who has started at 7 different positions this season. 2-0. Called strike. He started at every position but pitcher and catcher for the Astros this year, becoming the first Astro to ever start at 7 different positions in one season. 2-1 pitch is cut on and missed, 2-2. Two pitch. Hit in the air, right field. Barger moving in, now moves to his left and makes the catch. 2 outs.
And this is the inning that you say needed in this start. He's thrown 6 pitches so far in this inning. 5 pitches?
6 pitches.
6 pitches.
You're right on it. Came into the frame with 67 pitches thrown. At 73 here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. 1-1 score, Blue Jays and Astros. Chas McCormick up, who singled and scored last inning. First pitch breaking ball, outside, 1-0. McCormick pinwheels the bat 3 times, brings it above his right shoulder, 1-0 pitch. Just off the plate away with the fastball. Might have been a strike. Kikuchi certainly thought it was. It's 2-0.
Kikuchi actually motioning to Dan Iasonia behind home plate with his hand. Where was that? Was that outside? You really don't see that from him that often.
Lefty's pitch. Swing and a fly ball to right. Very high, not super deep. Barger moves toward the corner, now ranges back to his right, and makes the catch to end the inning. 3 flyouts, a quick top of the 4th for Kikuchi as he sets down the Astros in order. 1-1 game, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family.
In-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bichette leading off for the Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th inning in Toronto. It's 1-1 Blue Jays and Astros. Ronel Blanco into the wind. Here's his pitch. Bichette takes strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday evening with us. Still a bright night here at Rogers Center. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Bichette fooled there by the curveball down and away. 0-2.
It is definitely getting nicer tonight.
Yeah.
Less chilly, more sun.
Clouds have parted as the game's gone on. 0-2. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3. A slider down and away gets Bo for the first out.
And the longer Ronel Blanco stays in this ball game, I feel like the more confident he's getting with his pitches. His slider's better. His changeup is better. Even his fastball is ticked up a little bit with the velo.
He's retired 8 of the last 9 hitters. Actually, 9 of the last 9 because Bichette had a sac fly in the first. Here's the pitch to Dalton Varsho. Popped up foul into the seats third base side. 0-1. The only base runner that Blanco has given up since the first is the walk to Springer last inning. Varsho hooks a liner to right field. That's down in fair territory, a base hit. Varsho around first. He's into second with a one-out double.
And right on cue, the Blue Jays get a base runner. Dalton Varsho ripped that baseball down the line in right field. And that's actually a pitch that he's had a lot of trouble with. A fastball up at the hands. He gets those hands through and drills that thing. Almost like he was cheating just a little bit with that pitch. I'll take it, though.
Varsho was really looking for that one. That's his first extra base hit since the 16th of June versus Cleveland here at Rogers Center. Runner on second, one out. The pitch to Davis Schneider. High, ball one. Schneider worked a full count in the second, but he popped up to first base for the first out of that inning. 1-0. Called strike. Schneider with an underhanded golf-like swing now brings the bat above his right shoulder. 1-1. High, 2 balls, 1 strike. Second, Blanco looking at him, the 2-1. Called strike, another breaking ball at the top of the zone, and it's 2-2.
Kind of buckled Davis Schneider's knees with that breaking ball there. Definitely didn't look like he was expecting that pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes, Blanco set at the belt. He reaches back, releases, and misses just outside. Full count, tough take by Schneider on the changeup.
Ronel Blanco didn't like that call. He kind of walked off to the side of the mound looking at the replay. It wasn't a strike. It was a good call by Dan Iasonia.
Payoff pitch. Bounce softly to short. Varsho has to hold up at second. Pena charging in gloves, throws on to first, and gets Schneider 2 outs.
Pena's really smooth over there.
Very smooth.
I didn't know that he was that much of a, or that smooth of a defender. He's really good over there.
Pena in 2022 won the Gold Glove at shortstop as a rookie. American League Gold Glove at shortstop has gone to rookies back-to-back seasons. He looked good on that play. Here's the pitch to Ernie Clement. Swing and a fly ball, right center field. Racing back to second baseman Altuve makes an over-the-shoulder catch. That one nearly a bloop hit, but instead a nice play from Altuve, and the one-out double by Varsho is left on base. 1-1 game going to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by...
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
A proud member of Wayne's Auto Group.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Out of here! Out of here! Davis Schneider wins it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the fifth inning, Yusei Kikuchi still on for the Blue Jays, facing Gray Kessinger of the Astros in a 1-1 game. Left on right, the pitch is fouled back into the netting. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Kikuchi's been good, although the pitch count is up there. Last pitch was his 77th. 0-1. Down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
78 pitches now, and Zach Pop is warming up in that Blue Jays bullpen.
After Kessinger, it'll be third time through for the top of the order for the Astros. 1-1. Swinging a fly ball. Sends Varsho back a little bit, but still 10 feet in front of the track. He stops and squeezes it 1 down. The fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins is a big fan of small biz. That's why they awarded another $3 million to small business owners across the country. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. Top of the order, here's Jose Altuve, who's had a very un-Altuve-like day, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Adjusts his helmet and looks out at Kikuchi, the pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-1.
And again, an awkward swing, a late swing. It almost looked like Brian Servin caught that ball before Altuve was waving at it. An odd swing on an 0-0 pitch.
And a late swing on a curve of all pitches for Kikuchi, his softest pitch. 0-1. Fastball is poked out to right field. Barger on the run toward the foul line, gets under it, makes the catch. 2 down.
The only thing I can think of is why he was reacting to that pitch. Maybe he was trying to drive the ball the other way because Vlad was way off the line, off that first base line. And Spencer Horowitz was shaded up the middle as well. Maybe you could just see an easy base hit.
It's possible. Kikuchi gets him, though, on a ball hit to the opposite field. And now with 2 down, here's Alex Bregman. The pitch. Outside, ball 1.
But then again, I don't pretend to actually know what's going on in the head of Jose Altuve.
No one does. You know, if they did, they'd all be hitting 300 too. Base is empty. 1-1 game. 1-0 pitch. Fastball on the outside black. Evens up the count at 1-1. Kikuchi entered the 4th inning with 67 pitches thrown, but he's actually been very efficient in the last 2 frames. Kicks and fires. It's just down and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. He's potentially got himself in position here to at least get through 5. John Schneider, Pete Walker looking on from the first base dugout. And Kikuchi's 2-1. Hit off the handle, looping foul behind home plate into the seats, 2-2.
Would you rather see Zach Pop face Yordan Alvarez or Yusei Kikuchi? I know it's the left-on-left matchup, but Zach Pop does have that good sinker.
Probably Kikuchi still, honestly. 2-2 is hit on the ground at third on 2 hops, backhanded by Clement. Gets up, throws to first. It's a strike to Guerrero to end the inning. 5 frames for Kikuchi. He's only given up 1 run to the Astros. Blue Jays try to separate when we come back at the bottom of the 5th in this 1-1 game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust.
590 on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Addison Barger stepping into the box. Bottom of the fifth inning, about to start at Rogers Center. 1-1, Blue Jays and Astros. Pitch from Ronel Blanco, outside, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Tell you about some out-of-town scores in the injury report this inning. First, the 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
That's the pitch right there that I thought that Addison Barger would have a tough time with. That really good changeup, the one that starts right down the middle.
1-1. Swing and a chopper, a high hopper to second, fielded chest high by Altuve, throws to first, 1 down. Let's go to the injury report, brought to you by Bergmanis Prayer, personal injury lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prayer, personal injury lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prayer will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. We're going to start with the bad news, and then I got good news 3 in a row. First, though, Brian Serven is up, right on right pitch. High, ball 1.
I like that ratio.
Yeah. The bad news is pretty tough. The bad news, Jordan Romano went in to see Dr. Keith Meister yesterday. Today got arthroscopic surgery. 1-0 pitch fouled off to the right, 1-1. It was successful surgery to repair a right elbow impingement, but because that is the case, Romano, they said, will not throw for approximately 6 weeks. So that puts the rest of his season in question. 1-1, fouled off, 1-2.
So 6 weeks, 6 weeks no throw, 6 to 8 weeks probably build up. I would imagine.
You think 6 weeks build up for a reliever?
Well, it's surgery, right? It's not like he's coming back from a PRP injection or something like that.
Yeah.
It's actual surgery. They went in to fix something. So I would imagine, yeah, I think it's pretty slow.
1 ball, 2 strike, the pitch. Hit foul off to the right again. Still a ball and 2 strikes. All right, let's get to the good news. Jimmy Garcia threw his second side session off of a mound today. About 20 to 25 pitches was the target. They didn't say anything with certainty, but the next appearance for Garcia, or the next throwing, could be a rehab appearance in Buffalo. 1-2. Fouled off into the netting. Bounces all the way back onto the field of play toward the mound. Still ball and 2 strikes.
And I have to say, I have seen Jimmy Garcia in that bullpen, and he looks pretty happy, so that's a good sign.
Garcia also dealing with some pain in the right elbow. 1-2. Once again, fouled off by Serven. And hey, Brian Serven's here. He's getting his first start today because Danny Jansen's on paternity leave. And yesterday, Jansen welcomed in his second child and first daughter to his family. 1-2 pitch. Downstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Josephine Stevie Jansen, born at 2/19 yesterday, and John Schneider said everyone's doing well. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, still 2-2. Danny, his wife Lexi, and recently made older brother Miles as well.
Stevie's a fun name.
Yeah, so Stevie, the middle name is after Jansen's dad.
Oh,
Steve.
cool.
2-2. Swinging a liner, right field, base hit. First of the year and first as a Blue Jay for Brian Serven. He's on first with 1 out.
And like we said, he's having a decent season down in AAA, so he's a guy that can swing the bat. That's a good swing right there.
It was not a bad pitch by Blanco. That was a 4-seamer right on the outside corner, but Serven went with the pitch, took it into right field. And before George Springer comes up, Yainer Diaz is going to go out to the mound. So Danny Jansen is all good, and the plan still is for him to return tomorrow. You only get 3 days on the paternity list. They could put him on the restricted list for 1 day tomorrow if they had to. And today, no Justin Turner because he's gone on the paternity list. His wife, Courtney, has gone into labor. John Schneider said he got the call this morning. That will be the first kid for Justin Turner. And the kid is going to be born, they said, in Toronto. So Justin Turner will have a Canadian baby, which is pretty cool.
For the rest of, is a boy or girl?
I don't know.
So for the rest of their life, it'll say born in, birthplace, Toronto, Canada. That's pretty cool. On the American passport.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it'll happen. He or she will have an American passport.
First pitch to George Springer, cut on and missed, strike one. And so with Turner going on the paternity list today, Stuart Baroa is up. I believe he got here pregame. I didn't see him, but I believe he is here and in the dugout for the Blue Jays. 0-1. Down and away, 1-1. Oh, and one more piece of good news, I guess, is Jose Barrios. We were wondering yesterday what exactly happened. They had a guy warming when he was only on 50 pitches, but they said nothing was wrong. They just didn't want that inning to spiral. They got to win every game they can right now. 1-1 pitch. Springer takes in the dirt, 2-1. So they said everything is okay with Jose.
That actually makes a ton of sense. I really like that answer. That's probably the best answer that you could have come up with.
Now, I will say, they didn't bring Genesis Cabrera in against the lefty Alvarez, who did hit a 3-run homer. But yes, 2-1. Springer takes downstairs. He's bouncing around. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Looked like he was eager to swing, but just held back at the last moment. 2 walks in the game for Springer. Runner on first, serving. 1 out, 1-1 game, bottom of the 5th. A peek at first, Blanco's pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball, hit to the shortstop, Pena. Flips to second one, Altuve at first. Inning-ending double play. 6-4-3, the Astros turn it. They erase the 1-out knock of Servin, and we will go to the 6th in a 1-1 game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers.
City TV Plus. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Hurts smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Yusei Kikuchi still on the mound for the Blue Jays as we start the 6th inning in Toronto. 1-1 game, Blue Jays and Astros. It's been a pitcher's duel so far between Kikuchi and Blanco. Lefty kicks and fires to Yordan Alvarez, who hammers the ball. Right field. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's way gone. Off the front facing of Schneider's porch, the Astros take their first lead of the day, 2-1.
He is on an absolute tear. You can see Yusei shaking his head. That is a pitch, especially at 95 miles an hour, that not many guys can get to, and Yordan Alvarez demolished that baseball into the third deck in right field. He is something special.
110 miles an hour off the bat, and he knew it right away. So a home run there for Alvarez, his third in as many days here in Toronto. Here's the pitch to Yainer Diaz. It's fouled off, 0-1. Alvarez, now with 19 homers, has tied the injured Kyle Tucker for the most home runs on the Astros. He's driven in both today, 2-1 Houston, and the 0-1 pitch is cut on and missed by Yainer Diaz, 0-2.
That fastball was actually off the plate a little bit on the inside part at 95, left on left. It's almost impossible to get the barrel to that.
0-2, hit in the air right field. Barger backing up, still backing up, onto the track, curls and makes the catch. 1 out. So 1 down, 2-1 Astros, top of the 6th. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Reds have extended their lead over the Yankees. Stuart Fairchild with a solo home run. It's 3-0. Cincinnati over New York, top of the 6th. First pitch to Jake Myers, hit foul, 0-1. Also some action going on in downtown Toronto in the sports world, not too far from here. Next pitch is bounced up the middle by Myers, fielded by Horwitz, right over the second base bag. He throws over to first, 2 down. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Toronto FC hosting Orlando City today. Derek Etienne Jr. with a goal in the 5th minute for Toronto FC to take the lead, but Orlando City strikes back in the 27th minute, and then an own goal right on the brink of halftime makes it 2-1 for Orlando City at half.
When does Toronto or Canada play in the Copa America again?
Friday,
okay,
I believe. First pitch to Jeremy Pena, low ball 1.
I know you were all over their last game.
Oh yeah. Well, they made it to the quarterfinals. The Americans didn't even make it to the quarterfinals. Here's the 1-0, low 2-0. Not that the U.S. is necessarily the powerhouse, but they definitely have had more success on that kind of stage than Canada has up until now. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. 2-1 Astros, and the 2-0 pitch. Hit in the air, deep left field. Going back, Schneider at the wall, leaps, and it's just off his glove and down on the track. Pena racing around second will hold up and backpedal into the bag. And I think that'll go down as a double for Jeremy Pena.
Yeah, Schneider missed that baseball by inches. He looked like he had a beat on it going back against that left field wall. Timed his jump perfectly and just missed it. It actually hit the wall first and then his glove.
Yeah, I couldn't tell from up here. 400 feet away maybe, but yeah, he did not really have a chance to make that catch. Double, though, is going to prompt John Schneider to walk out to the mound here. And Yusei Kikuchi looks like he is going to be done. Zach Pop has been warming up for a while. Schneider will take the baseball from Kikuchi, who strides off the mound after 5 2/3 innings. Only 2 runs allowed right now. He's responsible for Pena on second. And Pop will try and...
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
San Diego and Texas after 2 scoreless. Tampa up 1-0 on KC, and Milwaukee and Colorado scoreless in the first inning. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Now back to Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. 2 outs, runner on second. 2-1 Astros, top of the 6th. Zach Pop's pitch to Mauricio Dubon, called strike 1. A run in this inning for the Astros on the Alvarez homer. Pop now trying to limit it to just that, making his 29th appearance of the year, a 5.5 earned run average. Righty looks at second. One more peek, and the 0-1. Outside. Hard, big movement sinker for Zach Pop. Throws a cutter and a slider as well. Brampton native leans forward, gets the sign he wants. And the 1-1. Swing and a bouncer foul. Looked like Dupont both backed off the plate and swung at that pitch at the same time. It's 1-2.
I mean, that pitch right there is just almost unhittable. So much downward movement, the horizontal movement, 97 miles an hour. Sometimes you got to wonder how this guy gets hit.
Stuff is off the charts for Pop, who kicks and fires and gets a ground ball to second base. Picked up by Horwitz. He throws out Dubon and ends the inning. Pop does the job, stranding Pena on second, but the Astros take the lead. The leadoff home run by Yordan Alvarez has it at 2-1 Houston.
Book a test drive during the fully loaded summer event.
Spring is here, and it's about to heat up. Baseball is back. It's time to start thinking about spring cleaning. Store all your winter belongings with Access Storage. Get the gloves, bats, and bases dusted off for spring. Access Storage, official storage partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Details at accessstorage.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Roddy rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back to back to back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
2-1 Astros, bottom of the 6th in Toronto. Spencer Horwitz leading off. Takes the first pitch from Ronel Blanco upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays trailing for the first time today. Yordan Alvarez with a go-ahead homer in the top half. 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. We're here in the Timbermart broadcast booth. Luke Swadron, Tom Young, our technical directors. Roger Lajoie, our host. Nick Blackmore, our producer. 2-0. Called strike, a fastball right down the middle.
And we're getting to that point in the ball game when if you get a guy on, you have to make something happen. You have to hit and run, steal a bag, manufacture that run.
2-1 pitch, cut on and missed, 2-2. Now they might not in this part of the order. You got Horwitz, Guerrero, Bichette, 2 up this inning.
Outside of this part of the order.
Yeah. Horwitz 0 for 2 today. 2-2 pitch. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3 gets him on the changeup in the zone. And that's the 4th strikeout tonight for Ronel Blanco.
It actually looked like Spencer Horwitz was right on that pitch. He just swung a little bit over it. He waited back, waited, and swung. The timing seemed right. Just swung and missed.
So a rare 0 for 3 start for Horwitz tonight. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. First pitch, called strike. The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. As a big fan of small biz, Desjardins awarded another $3 million to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. Bottom of the 6th, 1 out, bases empty. 2-1, the Astros lead the Blue Jays. 1-1 to Vlad. Swing and a chopper to third, backhanded by Bregman. Long throw on to first, just beats the sprinting Guerrero. And that'll make it 2 down. Caribbean Carnival returns to Rogers Center for the 4th time on Friday, July 26th. The night filled with Caribbean music, dancing, and more. The first 15,000 fans will receive one of 4 Blue Jays neon hat giveaways. Head to bluejays.com/carnival to purchase your tickets today. 2 down, the pitch to Bo Bichette. Outside, ball 1. Bichette has driven in the lone Blue Jay run today. A sac fly in the first. He also struck out in the 4th. 1-0. Swing and a miss. For Bo, it's a first start in the cleanup spot since June 14th, the last game he had before hitting the injured list. 1-1. Down and away, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Rono Blanco just threw his 98th pitch, so I'm assuming, if not Bo Bichette, Dalton Varsho is his last hitter.
Had Taylor Scott up for a while in the right field bullpen. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a liner headed to left field. That's down and bouncing into the corner. A fair ball, and it looks like extra bases. Bichette around first. He jogs into second with a 2-out double. Caught a changeup right over the middle of the plate. And that'll be the day for Blanco as Joe Espada walks out of the dugout. For Bichette, it's his 15th double of the year, and he is going to end the day of the righty starter. Teammates coming to the mound to give Blanco pats on the back. With 2 outs, the Astros will go to their pen. The Blue Jays have the tying run in scoring position, bottom of the 6th. With that bullpen door open, let's go back to our host today. Here's Roger Lajoie.
Thanks very much, Ben, and that gives us another look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Control Center, once again, Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. 2 outs. Taylor Scott into the game for the Astros with Bo Bichette on second and a 2-1 Houston lead. Right on left, the pitch to Dalton Varsho is in the zone for strike 1. Scott amid a breakout season in the Astros pen. 38th appearance of the year. Earned run average is below 1.5 in over 40 innings of work. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Yeah, up until this season, he was nowhere near this good. His closest ERA was last year, and that was 5.60. He's sitting at 1.49 right now. That's pretty incredible.
He had only made 39 career appearances from 2019 to 2023. This is 38th of this season, and the 0-2 pitch is hitting the air down the left field line. Foul into the seats.
He throws a lot like Jose Cuas, that low 3/4. But Taylor Scott is a little bit more of a short arm guy. But again, it's just another look that you get out of that bullpen. Not just the generic 95 right over the top. Something a little bit different.
A breath from the righty. Comes set now and looks back at Bichette. 0-2 again. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stuff isn't overpowering. The righty averages 93 on his four-seam fastball, mixes in a mid-80s slider and change a lot, occasionally throws a sinker. 1-2. Way down and away. Scott, a right-handed reliever from South Africa, was the second South African to reach the big leagues when he debuted in 2019. The first Gift Ngape debuted with Pittsburgh in 2017 and played briefly with the Blue Jays in 2018 as well. 2-2 pitch. High, full count. Leading off second, 3-2 pitch is line to right field, sinking and down for a hit. They're giving Bichette the wave. Throw from McCormick, bounces up the line. It's an RBI single for Varsho. Snap throw to first. They get him out, but Dalton Varsho does single in the tying run. Out, caught between first and second. The run will count, though, as the tag play came after Bichette had scored, and we're knotted up at 2 going to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you... Ready to order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 7th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. 2-2 ball game after the Dalton Varsho RBI single in the 6th. Here's the pitch. Zach Pop to Chas McCormick. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. After the 7-6 game yesterday, a low-scoring affair today. 0-1. Swinging bunt, bounce back to the mound, and Pop fumbles with it. McCormick is safe at first. That one was rolled straight back to the hill, but Pop maybe just took his eye off the ball for a second, and McCormick is safe at first.
Yeah, that's tough luck for Zach Pop, especially the leadoff hitter in this inning. And now the Houston Astros can get something in motion here. But yeah, that's a good pitch, a good result. And I think you're right. Zach Pop just fumbled that one.
They haven't scored it yet, but you would have to think that goes down as an error. Here's the first pitch to John Singleton, pinch hitting. Lefty swinger takes inside 1-0. He comes in relief of the right-handed hitter, Gray Kessinger. Singleton hitting in the 230s this year, and now playing in his 62nd game. 1-0. chopped foul down the first base line. Runner on first, nobody out. They do call it an error, by the way, on Zach Pop that allows Chas McCormick to reach. First error in the game, either side. Pop got the final out of the sixth. Here's his pitch to Singleton. Foul back off of the home plate up Dan Iasonia, who almost went down to the ground there. Stopped himself from falling by putting two hands into the dirt, and he's walking out to the mound right now. Takes off his mask and goes to hand the ball to Pop. The other umpires are going to come check on it.
It actually looked like it deflected off of Servin's mask or shoulder and hit Iasonia. He seems to be okay.
It was definitely foul tipped. We're getting a second look at it right now. Singleton tipped it back, and I think it went right into the chin of Iasonia.
Yeah, it didn't touch Servin at all.
And now Jose Menestral is checking on Iasonia. Blue Jays head athletic trainer with a hand on the ump's left shoulder, gives him a pat on the back. Looks like he is good to go. That's great news. Iasonia puts the mask back on and reassumes his position behind home plate.
Jose Menestral is always so thorough. Every time he goes out there, you can tell he's just very thorough with what he's doing, especially when guys are getting hit in the mask and the chin like that.
Got to be careful, of course, with stuff around the head and neck area, but Iasonia's okay. And the 1-2 pitch to Singleton is ripped down the right field line. A fair ball bouncing into the corner. Around second base, McCormick's headed to third. Gary Pettis, third base coach, will hold him up, but it's a pinch hit double for Singleton and two in scoring position with nobody out for the Astros.
And that's just tough luck for Zach Pop for the Toronto Blue Jays. First the error, and then not a bad pitch right there. Singleton just goes down and kind of gulfs it into the corner. A little bit of a backup pitch right there, but again, not a terrible pitch from Zach Pop just over the glove of Vlad at first.
Here comes Jose Altuve, and I almost wonder if they walk him here. First base is open. Altuve is about as tough to retire as it gets, although he's 0 for 3 today.
It doesn't look like they're going to walk him, but that's actually not a bad idea.
They're going to pitch to Altuve, infield in. First pitch. Swinging a liner off the glove of Guerrero, down in right field, a base hit. In to score McCormick. They stop Singleton at third. Jose Altuve's RBI single makes it 3-2 Astros.
I mean, there are 0 outs, so that factors into it. It's a tough ask. Nobody out, bases loaded. Alex Bregman and then Yordan Alvarez, but I mean, that wasn't a bad call. Walking Jose Altuve, maybe getting a double play, a pop-up, a strikeout.
Set up a force at the plate. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to manage in hindsight, and now we've seen what the result was. But
either way, it's not a good situation.
No, it's not good now either. First and third, nobody out. Here's Alex Bregman, 3-2 Astros. Pop's pitch. Line to short, caught by Bichette, gets up, and both runners scramble back. Bo caught that just above the dirt, and that's a huge first out.
Yeah, that's a big first out. Bo Bichette caught that baseball and looked at first base. John Singleton was actually way off the bag at third. If he came up looking at third base, you could see Spencer Horowitz pointing at third base. The Blue Jays would have had an easy double play.
I think for Bichette, because the ball pulled him to his left, he was just facing there, but you're right. And now John Schneider's going to walk out to the mound. I don't think they'll let Alvarez, the left-handed hitter, bat against the righty thrower Pop. Brendan Little, a southpaw's been getting loose in the Blue Jay pen, and John Schneider makes the call to the bullpen. A run in this inning for the Astros. They take the lead back. It's 3-2 Houston. First and third, Alvarez about to hit. Little emerging from the bullpen. Let's go to today's host, Roger Lajoie.
And Ben, thanks very much. So we can take another look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, and it is a busy night in the majors. As we've said, bottom of the ninth now in Pittsburgh. St. Louis and the Pirates are tied at 3. Wilson.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Kansas City up 2-1 on Tampa Bay, bottom of the third in Kansas City. Those are two of the four teams the Blue Jays are chasing in the wild card race. Bottom of the second now in Colorado. Milwaukee leading Colorado 2-0. Three late games, 9:40 start. The LA Angels are in Oakland to take on the A's. Arizona and the Dodgers hook up at Dodger Stadium at 10:10. And Baltimore and Seattle also a 10:10 start in Seattle tonight. That's a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. And Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Once again, Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Roger. And pardon me, I jumped the gun a little bit. They had Brendan Little up, but the Blue Jays go to Jose Quas, the righty, out of the pen, and immediately intentionally walk Yordan Alvarez. So they don't face the left-handed hitting slugger, who has a double and a homer today. He will go down to first base. The bases are now loaded with one out, and Quas can go right on right with Yainer Diaz.
I don't mind this move here, but the only negative that I see doing that is now you have two guys in scoring position instead of just one guy in scoring position. But again, Yordan Alvarez has been so good this series.
3 homers in 3 games. So here's Diaz, who's 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Quas's pitch is hit through the right side of the infield, a base hit. Singleton scores. They're sending Altuve. Throw to the plate is way offline. Altuve will score. It's a 2-run single for Yainer Diaz in a 5-2 Astro lead.
Yeah, just like that. There's the 2 runs that you put in scoring position. They score. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, so let's not talk about that. But you just have to make a better pitch there in that at-bat. Yainer Diaz is a good hitter as well. It's not Yordan Alvarez, but he is a good hitter.
Fastball middle in, that Diaz inside out into right field. And 3 runs in the frame for the Astros. They'll all get charged to Zach Pop, although one will be unearned because the batter reached on a pop error. Here's Jake Myers now, first and third, still only 1 out, the pitch. And he nailed him in the back. Quas's sweeper runs inside on Myers, and the bases are loaded again.
This has gone from bad to ugly here. Now you have the bases loaded, still only 1 out. Here comes Jeremy Pena.
Pop's line is closed. He will finish with 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. No walks, no strikeouts. Yusei Kikuchi allowed just 2 runs, and now the next pitch runs in and hits Pena. That'll score a run. Has hit 2 in a row, and it's 6-2 Houston.
And that almost looked like a replay. It looked like the exact same pitch, a fastball that ran in on Pena, hit him in the elbow. He looks to be all right, but Joe Espada was kind of staring out. I'm not sure what he was looking at, but
first one was a sweeper, second one was a fastball, and here comes John Schneider to the mound. Jose Quas has only thrown 3 pitches, but that's going to be his day. Single, hit batter, and now Brendan Little will come into the game. 6-2 Houston, 1 out, bases loaded, top of the 7th. He sounds so nice. Let's hear
With one out, 3-2, Reds lead the Yankees. Atlanta up on San Francisco 3-1, bottom of the sixth. The Cubs now have taken a 2-1 lead on the Phillies in the bottom of the fourth. Carson Kelly's grand slam has Detroit up on Minnesota 5-1. They're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Texas with 3 runs in the third now leads San Diego 3-2 at Texas in the top of the fourth. Kansas City on top of Tampa Bay 2-1, bottom of the third in Kansas City, and Milwaukee leads Colorado 2-0, bottom of the second in Colorado. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Once again, let's go to Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. The Astros have scored 4 in the inning, still have the bases loaded, and the 9th Astros batter to come up in this 7th is Mauricio Dubon. 1 out against 6-2, bases loaded. Infield in for the Blue Jays. Lefty Brendan Little kicks and fires home, and the first pitch fouled off. 0-1. Blue Jays had just tied it up in the bottom of the 6th, but error, double, single, line out, walk, hit batter, and it's gotten ugly. The 0-1. Down and away, 1-1. And if you really look in the last while, the Blue Jays, going back to June 23rd, have scored 52 runs before today, most in the American League. They don't have an astounding record because pitching actually, rather than early in the year where hitting was giving them trouble, has been in a tough spot right now. 1-1. Swing and a fly ball down the right field line. Barger giving it a chase, and it's off the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, the biggest thing, especially in this game, the glaring issue is that bridge guy. You can't win a close ball game if you don't have those bridge guys in your bullpen, and that's the guys that come in after the starter and before the high leverage late inning guys. And the Blue Jays just don't really have that right now.
Brendan Little kicks and fires. And Dubon hits the ball on the ground to short. Bichette will throw home for 1, and Servin gets his foot on the plate, stretching out like a first baseman to make the play. So that's a fielder's choice. Bichette thought about turning 2, but decided to take the safe out at the plate, and there are now 2 down.
Yeah, they wouldn't have got Dubon at first base there. That's a good play from Bo Bichette. Keep this score at 6-2. You don't want to fall behind 7-2 there. They might have got Dubon, but that was a safer play right there.
So a 6-2 force out. Bases still loaded. And now Chas McCormick up, who it feels like a long time ago had a check swing roller to the plate that was fumbled for an error, and that's how this whole inning started. New baseball for the lefty Little. Brendan Little, this is his 15th appearance of the season, and earned run average just above 5. Stretches out his left arm, dangles it as he leans forward to the plate. And now comes set. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 6-2 Astros, top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. High and in, McCormick lays off, 1-0.
That fastball is 97 miles an hour.
It's got some pretty serious juice. It fluctuates in the mid-90s, but Blue Jays have 2 hard-throwing lefties with Little and Cabrera. 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. You talk about the bridge guys not really being there for the Blue Jays. It's been a perfect storm of some guys being inconsistent and having down years, and a handful of guys being hurt as well. 1-1, swinging a foul off, 1-2. You come into this season, and obviously bullpens are a bit volatile, but you come into this year, your top 5 is Romano, Swanson, Garcia, Green, and Meza. One of those guys is in the bullpen right now. 2 of them are hurt, and Green was hurt earlier in the year, and one is DFA'd in Meza, the other one's in AAA in Swanson. It's a tough way to live. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball down the right field line. Barger racing over near the foul line, watches it fall into the seats. All 3 base runners will return to their positions.
Yeah, and I mean, what are you going to do? You got guys that are struggling. You have guys that are hurt. Obviously, Jimmy Garcia, Jordan Romano haven't pitched in a little while. Those are your highest leverage guys, but it's been a perfect storm of injuries, of nightmares, of guys just not performing. And if you can weather the storm, you can make the playoffs. But if not, it's just kind of a lost season.
Little in the set, bases loaded, 2 down. 1-2 pitch. Again, hit foul off to the right. Chas McCormick will adjust his batting gloves before stepping back in. Little waiting for McCormick, goes to the back of the mound, picks up the rosin back, flips it around in his left hand a few times, and tosses it back onto the dirt. Looking forward, now he comes set at the bell. The lefty twists, deals, and another pitch fouled off by McCormick. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
McCormick putting up a good fight, some tough pitches, 96, 97 with those good sinking fastballs, and then fouls off that breaking ball right there that was almost in the dirt.
One, two, once more. Outside, 2-2.
Keep in mind, the bases are still loaded here. You got to throw strikes if you're Brendan Little.
Little tugs on the brim of his cap and now comes set. With 2 outs, the 2-2 pitch to Chas McCormick. Swing and a hard hit ball to third, picked on a bounce by Clement. Pumps, throws to first. Guerrero falling down on the stretch, but the play is made to end the inning. The Astros, though, score 4 runs. They come up with 3 hits, 1 error, a walk, and 2 hit batters. They leave the bases loaded. They lead 6-2 at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th inning in Toronto, the Astros leading the Blue Jays 6-2. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for sticking with us and joining us in the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Roger Lajoie is today's host, Nick Blackmore, the producer, Luke Swandren, and Tom Young, our technical directors. Blue Jays trying to mount a comeback. Davis Schneider leads off in the 7th against righty Brian Abreu. First pitch. Schneider will take it. It's called outside. Looked like a perfect fastball, to be honest, from Abreu, but it's 1-0.
Yeah, that was about as good as it gets right there. Ball 1.
Schneider will take it. He's trying to get on for the first time today. 0 for 2. The pitch. High. 2 balls, no strikes. Abreu is the 3rd Astros arm today. Ronel Blanco pitched 5 2/3. Taylor Scott got the final out of the 6th, although he allowed a base hit, an RBI single to Dalton Varsho. 2-0 pitch is hit well center field. Going back, Myers twisting at the track. He makes the catch before bouncing into the wall. And that's a tough break for Schneider, allowed first out.
I actually thought that he might have gotten that baseball. It was a fastball at the bottom of the strike zone, and he hit it pretty well. Jake Myers just tracks it down in front of that wall in center field. Nice play out there.
Helps out Brian Abreu in already his 41st appearance of the season. Abreu with an earned run average just below 3. First pitch to Ernie Clement is outside, ball 1.
41 games before the All-Star break. That is absurd.
And he pitched 72 last year. Abreu's 1-0. Called strike with the slider. Slider is the lead pitch for Brian Abreu, but he's almost 50-50 with that sharp slider and the high 90s four-seamer. Very occasional change. 1-1. Swing and a pop-up first base side foul, tracking back John Singleton, but that one is just onto the netting over the first base dugout. Singleton pinch hit, by the way, in the top of the 7th for Greg Kessinger and remains in the game in his spot at first.
We actually saw Brian Abreu on July 1st in this series, and he was throwing fastballs 93, 94, and we were questioning the velocity, and then all of a sudden it ticked up to the old 98.
It's kind of weird, like he just got a bad warm-up or something. Yeah. Next pitch down and away, 2-2.
But he's back to his old self here, that last fastball, 97.5.
He's been pretty consistent for the Astros last couple of years. 2-2 pitch, buckles Clement, who started to swing but holds back. It's called strike 3. A slider at the top of the zone, now 2 outs.
Yeah, that was a backup slider from Brian Abreu. A tough pitch to hit. You think it's going to break more than it does, and then it kind of just spins over the inside part of the plate. That's an almost impossible pitch to hit if you're Ernie Clement.
So now 2 down, and Abreu will pitch to Addison Barger, nobody on. First pitch slider called strike 1. 6-2, the Astros lead off the back of a 4-run top of the 7th. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Dark clouds over top of Rogers Center. 0-1 pitch is bounced foul, hit the front foot of Barger and rolls out of play first base side. 0-2. Abreu, a member of the 2022 World Series Astros, even pitched in their combined no-hitter against the Phillies in Game 4 of that World Series. 0-2. Swing and a bouncer to first. Singleton fields. He'll flip it back to the pitcher, Abreu, who covers in time to end a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 8th, 6-2 Houston. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Your feet, the silent heroes of all your adventures.
The Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thank you so much for sticking with us on this Wednesday night. It's the 8th inning in Toronto, and the Astros lead the Blue Jays 6-2. Bowden Francis, the tall righty, enters the game for Toronto. 14th appearance of the season, earned run average just above 5. His pitch to John Singleton. High, ball 1. Singleton batting for the second time in as many innings, came in as a pinch hitter in the last frame. 1-0. Bounce to the plate. 2-0. It's been an interesting career for the left-handed hitter Singleton, who was an 8th rounder by the Phillies in 2009, traded to the Astros in 2011 as one of the prospects in exchange for Hunter Pence going the other way. 2-0. High, 3 balls and no strikes. Debuted with Houston in 2014, did Singleton. Played in 95 games and hit 13 homers that year, batting .285. Or pardon me, with a .285 on base, batted in the 160s, but showed some pop. He takes the 3-0 for strike 1. .3-1 pitch. Fouled back into the netting, full count. Singleton, though, would only play 19 games in 2015 and then was out of Major League Baseball until 2023. Spent some time playing pro in Mexico and returned to affiliated baseball in the Milwaukee system in 2022. 3-2. High ball 4. Ended up signing with the Astros after being designated for assignment by Milwaukee on a minor league deal last year, and is now a full-time Major League player with Houston again.
That's incredibly rare. I'm just looking at the history right now. 2015 to 2023, he was not in Major League Baseball. That is almost unheard of.
But back with the team he debuted with pretty much a decade later. Here's Jose Altuve, who was on that first team and is still here with the Astros as well. First pitch from Francis, wave and a miss. Gets Altuve way out in front of the curve. 0-1.
I wonder what that interaction was like in the clubhouse when they saw each other, perhaps for the first time in 8 years. Oh, you're still here?
Altuve, a long-time Astro. Next pitch is lifted to shallow right field. Barger with a long run in. He was playing back, but he'll get there and make the catch. 1 out.
And again, his approach at the plate is just so confusing. He looked awful on that swing, but he's one of the best hitters in the last 10 years in Major League Baseball. And you just scratch your head if you're a pitching coach, a manager, a pitcher on that mound. Most guys have no idea how to get him out.
Altuve still a .300 hitter, 1 for 5 today, but came up with a hit when the Astros needed it most. It was the go-ahead single in the 7th. Houston now leads 6-2, 1 out, top of the 8th. Francis looking in toward Alex Bregman. And the pitch. Fouled back, 0-1. Unlike Singleton, a very straightforward route for Bregman to the majors. He was the number 2 overall pick in 2015 out of Louisiana State University, also known as LSU. Highest drafted LSU position player and highest drafted New Mexican in Major League history. 0-1. Bounce to the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. When he was drafted number 2 overall, pardon me, he passed Dwayne Ward, former Blue Jays closer, as the highest drafted New Mexican. Ward was the 9th overall pick, not by Toronto, but by the Atlanta Braves in 1982. 1-1. Down and in.
You ever been to New Mexico?
I have not.
It's cool. The only place I've ever been to is Albuquerque, so, I mean, I can't really say that I'm an expert in all things New Mexico, but I played against the Isotopes there, and all I remember is the ball absolutely flies.
Oh, yeah.
Not good memories for me.
Bregman, an Albuquerque native, takes outside 3-1. What I really do appreciate about the Albuquerque Isotopes is, if I'm not wrong, they were conceived in a Simpsons episode before they ever made a team. The local team is playing, I think, against the Albuquerque Isotopes. 3-1. Called strike at the knees, 3-2, and then later a team popped up. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the story.
So I don't know, and I was an avid Simpsons fan growing up, but I think so. It's the Springfield, whatever they're called, versus. Are you sure it's Albuquerque Isotopes? I know it's the Isotopes, but what's the city?
3-2 pitch outside, ball 4. Bregman, an Albuquerque native, walks down to first, up to second base, John Singleton. Yeah, in the episode Hungry Hungry Homer in season 12, released in 2001, they play the Albuquerque Isotopes.
Interesting.
And that episode's in 2001. The Isotopes form in 2003 as an actual team.
That's cool.
Now a mound visit right now as they're going to try and get Francis back on track. He's walked 2 of the 3 batters he's faced here to start the top of the 8th. It's 6-2 Houston at Rogers Center.
I apologize for questioning your knowledge
of Simpsons.
I'll take Simpsons.
I like the Simpsons, but it sounds like you're very devoted.
Was. When I was growing up, when I was in elementary school and high school.
It's still going, I think.
It's like season 38 or something.
Unbelievable. Here's Yordan Alvarez. He's had quite the day. He's got a double, he's got a homer, and he has an intentional walk, 2 RBIs and a run scored. He's only been retired once back in the first inning on a ground out. 301 batter, 19 RBIs, 48 homers for the 6'5" lefty swinger from Cuba. Francis from the stretch delivers home. Fouled back, 0-1. We were talking about this in one of the breaks. Yordan Alvarez, originally a signing of the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2016, traded 6 weeks after being signed to Houston for reliever Josh Fields. 0-1. Called strike 0-2. Fields ended up having a decent stint with the Dodgers, but clearly Los Angeles did not know what they had at that point in Alvarez.
Somebody else was in that trade, weren't they? Was it straight up?
I think you're right. There was another prospect. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a liner down in right field, a base hit. Tight roping the foul line. Around third, Singleton comes in to score. Up to third, Altuve. It's a second double of the day for Yordan Alvarez, who now has 3 RBIs. 7-2 Houston.
I mean, Yordan Alvarez is just on cruise control right now. That wasn't a bad pitch again. It was a curveball that was down and in, and Yordan Alvarez just dropped that barrel and hit it into right field. Didn't really hit it hard, but he knows exactly what he's doing, not trying to do too much there. Just sneaks it just inside the line in right field for a double.
So Bregman on third, Alvarez on second, 1 out, and here's Yainer Diaz, who had a 2-run single in the 7th. He hits the first pitch up the middle into center field, a base hit. Bregman jogs home. Alvarez had to wait to see if that got through, so he's up to third. It's 8-2 Astros. Just to tie up that knot, by the way, on what we were talking about before, Alvarez was traded 1-for-1 for Josh Fields.
1-for-1. Still a little bit lopsided.
My goodness. And there's no
Josh Fields was good, though.
He was a good reliever.
Yeah.
But I think if the Dodgers knew then what they know now, they would not have traded for Josh Fields.
Probably not, but I also don't think they're losing sleep at night.
They are not. Their DH is Shohei Ohtani. First and third for the Astros, 8-2 lead, top of the 8th inning, 1 out, and the pitch to Jake Myers. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Myers today is 0-for-3. He was hit by a pitch, a sweeper got him in the back in the 7th. 0-1. Swing and a foul off, 0-2. Myers will ask for time, takes some swings out of the box. Center fielder is one of only 2 lefty throwers, righty hitters in all of Major League Baseball active right now. 0-2 pitch. Hit on the ground to third, picked up by Clement. He bobbles, throws to second, and the runner is out. In to score Alvarez. Astros might look at that. That was pretty close at second. Blue Jays wanted to turn 2, but Clement fumbled the
see this slow motion replay. I don't know. That was a bad angle, but it definitely looked like Diaz might have snuck that foot in there.
They're going to let play continue. Houston is up 9-2 now in the 8th inning. 3 runs in the frame, 2 outs, runner on first, and the pitch to Jeremy Pena. Called strike 1. 2022 World Series MVP Pena has a double. Was hit by a pitch today, also a ground out and a flyout. 0-1. Foul back, 0-2. Pena stepped in for Carlos Correa as a rookie in 2022 and really through the playoffs led the Astros to their second ever World Series title. 0-2. Bounced, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Francis steps on the third base side of the rubber, ball behind his back. Turns his shoulders to look at first, now sets above the belt. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball, medium depth left. Schneider walks forward and makes the catch to end the inning. 3 runs for the Astros on 2 hits. It's 9-2 Houston as we go to the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer started right, coming in, leaps and makes the catch full stretch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Astros and Blue Jays in Game 3 of a 4-game series. I'm Ben Shulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's 9-2 for Houston, who have scored 8 runs in the last 3 frames. With the big lead, lefty Brian King is on for Houston. He'll face Brian Servin, George Springer, and Spencer Horwitz. Long-haired lefty kicks and fires home, and Servin takes strike 1. Pretty cool for Servin in the 5th inning. He's had major league hits before in his 2 years with Colorado, but picked up his first hit as a Blue Jay. 0-1. Swing and a flare. Shallow left center, actually stays in the infield. Caught by the shortstop Pena, who moved back and then back onto the dirt. 1 out. For the lefty King, this is his 5th major league appearance of his career. This is his rookie season. Coming into this one, had allowed 1 earned run in 4 1/3 innings. He kicks and delivers. High, ball 1.
There's a good amount of low-round draft picks on this Houston Astros roster. Brian King was a 30th rounder in 2019 by the Chicago Cubs.
1-0 pitch is hit in the air, right field by Springer. And it's hauled in by the right fielder McCormick. 2 down. Picked out of McNeese State in Louisiana. Astros picked him up in the minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft. He missed all of last year with Tommy John, but was called up for his debut on June 22nd, debuted on the 23rd. Left on left now, he faces Spencer Horwitz with 2 outs. First pitch, outside, ball 1. How about this for a first strikeout of his career? He struck out Gunnar Henderson. Next pitch to Horwitz, called strike, 1-1. Your first out was Ryan Howard, right? Not your first strikeout?
Yeah, he grounded out to second base, I believe.
Horwitz swings and misses 1 and 2. Do you know who you struck out first?
I don't even remember.
I'll get it.
I have so many strikeouts.
Okay, yeah. I mean, through the stacks
well, I do remember that I struck out Roy Halladay.
Well, that helps. It's a cool one, but I don't know if it's an impressive one. Two outs, base is empty. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off to the left. Your first strikeout did not come in that outing, so give me a second. I'll find it. Next pitch to Horwitz, foul back, and he's doing a big help to me. Still trying to find the strikeout.
I forget. I should know this. I should know this answer. It was against the Washington Nationals in Miami.
June 30th, 2009.
And he was their second baseman, I believe.
1-2 again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Horwitz goes down, and we will have Chris Lear's first strikeout on the other side. We go to the 9th. It's 9-2 Houston in Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 9th inning in Toronto. 9-2. The Astros lead the Blue Jays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bowden Francis on the mound. Bottom 3 of the Astros order scheduled to hit this inning, starting with Mauricio Dubon. Francis into the wind. Right on right pitch. Lined up the middle towards center field. It gets down in front of Varsho for a base hit. As we were going to the break in the bottom of the 8th, we were talking about first career strikeouts because Brian King of the Astros struck out Gunnar Henderson for his first. So we were looking at Chris LaRue's
I am on the edge of my seat right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we'll reveal it. Chris was guessing during the break, and he did get it. I didn't reveal it to him. It was a pretty good player. Christian Guzman, shortstop for a while for the Twins and Nationals, a 2-time All-Star. You struck him out for your first ever strikeout. First pitch to Chas McCormick. Beats it into the ground foul, 0-1.
I actually have a funny story about that first strikeout. So I believe I did well in that outing. I think
you did.
An inning and a third, maybe clean.
An inning and 2/3.
Inning and 2/3 clean. All right. That's even better.
0-1. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And as you can imagine, I think that was my second outing or my third outing.
Third
outing. And I was pumped. It was probably my first clean outing in my entire career. And I remember I was by the spread line.
1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 1-2, like the food after the game.
Yeah, grabbing food, whatever. And Jeffrey Loria comes up to me and he puts his arm around me. He's like, "Good job, Chris. You look great tonight." I was like, "Holy cow, Jeffrey Loria, this is great." And he goes, "You know what they say, though? What have you done for me lately?" And I was just like, "What?"
That's brutal. 1-2, hit foul, 1-2.
I was like, "What kind of comment is that?" And then he walked away.
Lately,
that was it.
Lately, you had pitched a scoreless inning.
But what if I don't tomorrow? Anyways, that was one of my few interactions with Jeffrey Loria, and I tell people that all the time, and they're just like, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
1-2 pitch, hit foul again, off to the right. Yeah, that was a win that day for the Marlins. You pitched the 5th and 6th.
Yeah. Sean West started.
He did?
Yeah. See how I remember the weird things, but not my first strikeout?
1-2. Popped up foul and off to the right, still 1-2. It's 9-2 Astros, top of the 9th. Runner on first, no outs. Well, do you know who picked up the win that day? He pitched after me.
I have no idea.
Rainiel Pinto.
Oh, yeah, he was the man. He was the man in Miami for a long time. One of those guys that flew under the radar that had a decent amount of time in the big leagues.
1-2 pitch is hit on the ground, is short, backhanded by Bichette. Throws to second one. Horwitz over to first. Not in time. It was a tough play just to get the first out. It'll go down as a fielder's choice for McCormick. Dubon is retired 6-4.
I'll tell you a funny story about Sean West.
All right.
So Brandon Hyde was our manager in AA that year. That's where we both got called up from. And Sean West gets called into the office, and Brandon Hyde, whatever, calls him, sends him up, says you're starting in a couple days or the next day or whatever. And Sean West comes out of the manager's office, Brandon Hyde's office. He's like, "Oh my God, I got called up." I get called in the office. Get called up on the same exact day. We were roommates. It was pretty cool.
First pitch to John Singleton, low ball 1. And that was the first time you had ever been called up?
Not that time, no.
Okay.
But I think I had gotten sent down in between, but that time, so my first time was Philadelphia, and that was the time that Sean West story happened when we both got called up to Philadelphia.
1-0 pitch, called strike, 1-1.
But can you imagine getting called up on the same day as your roommate that you're living with in Jacksonville?
And then you pitch in the same game.
He was a first rounder, though, so it was pretty clear that he was on the fast track, and I was a 7th rounder, kind of finding my way.
1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. All right, the Marlins rallied for 6 runs that day, down 5-1.
Well, it's because I pitched in that game.
It's true. Hanley Ramirez helped out a little bit, too. 1-2 pitch. Singleton swings and misses. Strike 3. A strikeout for Francis. 2 down in the top of the 9th. Still 9-2 Astros. Got him on a splitter. Unless something drastic changes in this game, it looks like the Astros will take a 2-1 series lead. Houston's won 5 series in a row. They are just about the hottest team in Major League Baseball. First pitch to Jose Altuve, called strike 1.
And I truly don't think anybody is surprised.
It's just an inevitable thing. It's like if the Rays caught fire in a week. it'd just be the same thing you've seen for years in a row. Houston's been to 7 straight American League Championship Series. 0-1, bounced 1-1. And not just making those ALCSs, they've made 4 World Series in the last 7 years and won twice.
Almost inevitable that they're going to at least be better.
For all the controversy that had surrounded them early, they made the World Series in 21 and they won the World Series in 22 well after all of that stuff was resolved. 1-1, called strike 1 and 2. Altuve today is 1 for 5, an RBI single and a run scored. 9-2 Houston, top of the ninth. This was a 2-2 game going into the 7th, but the Astros have blown it open with a 4-run 7th and a 3-run 8th. Francis's pitch. Runs inside, almost hits Altuve. He looked back to the home plate ump Dan Iasonia to see if he'd call something, but it didn't hit him. It's 2-2.
He made the hand motion to the Houston Astros dugout, like maybe kind of didn't know if he got hit or not.
Is that possible to not know? I guess if it just hits your jersey.
I mean, he has an arm guard on. I don't know.
2-2. Fouled back into the screen. Astros, if they win today, will try to make it 6 series wins in tomorrow in a pretty fun matchup again. Framber Valdez will pitch for Houston. Chris Bassett will go for the Blue Jays, and Bassett is as hot as any Blue Jays starter right now. 2-2. Called strike 3. Fastball right on the outside edge. Francis punches out Altuve to end the scoreless top of the ninth. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Toronto looking for a big rally. They need a touchdown to keep it going. It's 9-2 Houston.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Much to discuss. Jays talk coming up as soon as the ball game is done. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. For the call, the bottom of the ninth, here's Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will lead off for the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette and Dalton Varsho scheduled to hit behind him. Rafael Montero, the long-haired righty, takes over for the Astros to try to finish off what looks to be another Houston win. They lead 9-2. For Montero, it's his second appearance of the series. He pitched in the opening game and threw a scoreless 7th, and at that point, a 1-0 game in favor of Houston. It was a pretty high leverage spot. This one, a little bit less so. The righty winds and delivers to Vlad Guerrero Jr. High ball 1. Guerrero is 1 for 3 today. A single to right field in the first, a line out, and a ground out. Swings at the 1-0 and hits it in the air right center field. Under it, McCormick, the right fielder, makes the catch. 1 out. close one today for most of the game, but the Blue Jays have not done much with the bats since that sixth inning when they had 2 hits. Everyone has been retired 7 in a row since, and the Astros have done a lot in the last couple frames. Bo Bichette had a double in the 6th inning last time the Blue Jays had hits in a frame, and the first pitch is at the knees, called strike 1.
Yeah, prior to the 7th inning, this game was exactly as advertised. Yusei Kikuchi pitched pretty well. Ronel Blanco obviously pitched pretty well.
0-1 pitch, fouled off by Bo. Late swing, he rockets it foul into the netting above the first base dugout, 0-2.
And then the floodgates absolutely open. Houston scoring 4 runs in the 7th, 3 in the 8th.
Bichette will ask for time. He's undoing and redoing the straps on some of his arm protection on the lead left arm. Taps the plate, looks out at the righty Montero. The 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. As the Blue Jays try to get Bichette back going again, it has been a productive day for Bo. He's had a double, a run scored, also a sacrifice fly in the first, so an RBI. 1-2. Fouls it off. Reaches for a breaking ball off the plate outside and spoils it back.
And I actually thought that he got that sac fly, the one that he hit to deep center field. It looked like he got it. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, he held that finish, took a couple slow steps to first base.
1-2. Bichette swings, but it hit him. Appeal down to first, and they say he went around. So Bo Bichette has struck out, and he looks to be in some pain. He tossed his helmet, but I think that's more in pain right now than in frustration. That one hit Bichette, I think, on the left forearm. They're checking on Bo right now.
Well, he's got that big elbow pad on the left arm. He's talking to Voon Chung right now, another one of the trainers in that Blue Jays dugout.
Oh, that got him on the underside, actually, of the right arm. Pardon me.
Yeah, that right arm. He doesn't have any protection on that forearm, on that right arm. And he definitely swung.
So that puts the Blue Jays down to their final chance in this ball game. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, 9-2 Astros. This series is tied at 1 right now. It's a 4-game set. Right on left, the pitch to Varsho. Hits it to left field on a line, but it hangs up. It's caught by Mauricio Dubon. That's the ball game. The Blue Jays stay in it until the latter stages. The Astros score 7 runs in the 7th and 8th combined, and they end up taking this game 9-2.
Yeah, prior to the 7th inning, the Blue Jays actually played pretty well, especially against Ronel Blanco, one of the best starters in the American League. Blanco goes 5 2/3, 4 hits, just 2 earned runs, but Yusei Kikuchi matched him pitch for pitch, also going 5 2/3 and 2 earned runs. Yusei Kikuchi was good tonight. We saw him with that fastball up around 98, 99. But then, like I said, the floodgates opened in that 7th inning. Blue Jays gave up 4 runs.
Toronto loses 9-2. We'll take a quick break, meet you on the other side, and then get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
But a lot like Nate Pearson, when he gets guys on base and it's a close ball game, the wheels start to spin, the game starts to speed up on him. And in that 7th inning, he made that error and he let the first guy of the inning on base. And then after that, everything just started speeding up on him, and he ends up giving up those 3 runs, 2 earned. But he's a guy that needs to have a clean inning, but if you're a bullpen guy, you can't rely on having a clean inning every single time. You have to be able to be comfortable with guys on base, and Zach Pop at this point is just not.
Pop ends up picking up the loss in the game. Taylor Scott, who actually came in and allowed a hit in the only batter he faced, will get the win because it was a tie ball game when he finished off the 6th, and then the Astros took the lead. Houston ends up scoring 9 runs on 11 hits, no errors, and 10 left on base. The Blue Jays with 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 3 left on base. Scott goes to 5-2 with the win. Pop 0-3 with the loss. Tomorrow, Chris, pretty entertaining. One of the best lefties in baseball, Framber Valdez, and Chris Bassett, probably the best Blue Jays starter over the last 5-6 weeks. They're going to face off at 107.
Yeah, Chris Bassett has been incredible over the last little while. His fastball command has just been spot on, and I'm really excited for that afternoon tilt tomorrow. I think it's 107.
Yep.
But tomorrow's game is a must win for this Toronto Blue Jays team. They have to come out. They have to be inspired, and Chris Bassett is probably the best guy to have on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays lose and go to 39-47. The Astros 44-42. Toronto will try and split the series tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. For our technical directors, Luke Swadron and Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Roger Lajoie, and my partner, Chris Leroux. I'm Ben Schulman. Have a good night and stick around. Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Parker starts right now.
All right, Kevin Parker, let's make a deal. You and me and the listeners make a deal. See if we can do this. Let's not talk about next year. Let's not talk about trading Bo or trading Vladdy or trading Yusei Kikuchi or signing Bo or signing Vladdy. Let's not ask for it. Let's just all get together, hold hands, and ask Ross Atkins to go someplace and find a reliever. Just one or two. 2 would be great. Nothing. We don't worry about these big issues that we're all worried about with Bo and Vladdy and all that. Just forget about that for now. Find somebody other than Jose Cuas. There's got to be somebody out there someplace, pitching someplace in the world that it can help this bullpen. Because, Kevin, right now, this bullpen is, they're what you saw tonight. They're a bunch of guys, the odd exception, who are okay in very small doses. But when things get tough, they're just not up to it. Zach Pop was just not up to it tonight. And we've ridden the Nate Pearson Express for the past 3